ダメだねダメよダメなのよあんたが好きで好きすぎてどれだけ
Oppa Gundam style, everybody. Welcome to WoW Kurobot.
I forgot that was...
Sarah, that's your fault.
I know it is, I forgot!
Welcome to WoW Kurobot, a show about Mobile Suit Gundam. I'm Max, I use he, him pronouns, and with me is our newest co-pilot.
Hey, it's me, I'm Sarah. I use she, her pronouns. You also might know me as Zhenya, depending on what part of the internet you know me from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
You also might know her as Queen of Podcasts.
Yeah, I was about to post before. I didn't want to. I refrained from posting this in the Discord before because I felt like a bit of an ego stroking thing. But I was getting a bit of the podcast sweats about this, despite the fact that I have 400 or so episodes of podcasting under my belt. I am a podcaster by just in terms of amount of hours I've sunk into it over anything. The only thing I am more of than a podcaster, just going off of number of hours invested, is a League of Legends player, and this is a horrible thing to be.
Yeah. Sarah, I don't know if this whole series is gonna work out. Then
listen, it's been over 10 years. It's been over the course of 10 years. I've podcasted this much in only 6.
We all have our crosses to bear.
Yeah, League of Legends enjoyer.
We're here to talk about Gundam, and it's an exciting time because I have not done a single Gundam series that has been made past the year 2000. Hell, I think the latest Gundam series I've done was in 95, technically 98 if you count the movie that was made a couple years after, and we are jumping 20 years past that. This is a series, Iron-Blooded Orphans, by the way. You could probably tell because the intro music, if you know anything about Iron-Blooded Orphans, is that the Yakuza is involved, which is why Bakamitai is the intro music of the show.
I'm unfamiliar with the fact that the Yakuza are involved. Literally all I know about Iron-Blooded Orphans is Raise Your Flag. That was the only thing I knew going in.
Mm-hmm. And Sarah, all of the openings, there's 4 openings for IBO, and they all kick ass.
I also love we'll get to it when we get to it, but I do really love the ED on this one.
The ED is so good.
The song itself just harkens back to I feel like I've not seen enough 80s, 90s anime to make this statement, but it does harken back to 80s anime endings to me.
It's a very retro feel.
Yeah. The woman hitting the fucking Great Gig in the Sky levels of vocals.
Yeah, exactly. Set to Mobile Suits just shooting rainbow explosions in space. Yes. Fucking kicks ass. This is Iron-Blooded Orphans. If you're only a pod listener and don't watch the show, this is an entirely new series, an entirely new timeline. This is not Universal Century. This is not After Colony. This is not what the hell is the one in G Gundam. Fuck, I forgot. Doesn't matter. Future Century. This is post-disaster, which is a wonderful way to name your timeline. 300 years ago, something fucked up happened, and we'll learn about that as we watch the show.
Yeah.
It's just and just fun. One of the Gundam series timeline is just Anno Domini, but it's not the one set in our world. It's a different one.
Anno Domini 2. It's Anno Domini, but there's a second I at the end.
Yeah, Anno Domini.
Anno Domini.
So this is entirely separated from any other Gundam series. It's its own timeline. It's its own thing. People are always clamoring for more stuff set in post-disaster, and there's a manga that's going on, and there's a mobile gacha game that's supposedly releasing, that's supposedly been releasing for the last 4 years, so we'll fucking see on that.
Yeah. I accidentally picked the perfect series to to be on for, because when Max, when you started this podcast, I said, wow, this sounds like a great excuse for me to get really into Gundam and watch along with the podcast. And I did that for the first series. I watched all of 0079, and I was like, have I told you my main method of watching 0079? The main way I would do it last summer it would have been 2 summers. Well, summer 2020 was when I was watching. Have I told you what I did?
No, I'm excited to learn.
I was really into Final Fantasy XIV at the time. The bug had bitten me, and I kind of fell off of it as time went on. But that summer, I was super into it, and so every day I would do my dailies. And when I was doing dailies of MSQ Roulette, I would, every time I rolled Praetorium during the cutscenes, I would just tab out and watch a full episode of Gundam 79 while the cutscenes played.
Kicks ass. It's MSG while you MSQ.
Because the cutscenes didn't praise the second one, right? It's praised like the final MSQ story because there's Castrum.
Oh god, it's been a bit
Whatever the second one is, the one where you jump in the Magitech armor and like blast.
Yeah, that's the second to last. Yeah.
Whatever the second one is, the cutscenes in that are roughly 23 minutes in length. So I mean, you gotta find something to do with them.
Yeah, you're simply MSGing while you MSQ.
And I was never main tank anyway, so if I was a little bit late getting back to the action, that's fine.
Yeah, you're doing new type shit in space. Yeah. No new types here, by the way. Surprisingly enough, the new type allegory here is extremely fucked up.
Yeah.
It's instead of being a new type, what if you were Neo Matrix?
What if you were Neo freaking Matrix?
Oh, it's fucked up. It is genuinely fucked up, and it's a cool thing. But again, a lot of this is like it feels much more analog than other Gundam series are. It's all chunky and mechanical and grimy and dirty, but still in a way that like has its own like totally unique style to it.
Right, and we see that in the very first episode. Because again, I speak as someone who's got like a series and a half of Gundam under her belt. I've seen all of 79. I've seen about half of Zeta. I've seen Zeta up to the OP change, which is not. I have not fallen off out of like lack of enjoyment for the series. It's just I had a lot of momentum. I got really busy. I lost my momentum, and I have not gone back to the series.
Right,
I'm sure I will finish
so much.
But I think like literally in the very first episode, it is a very minor like character plot point that one of the main characters literally got their hands dirty, it's literally we see them like working on these things in a way that like I feel like was not exactly there in like we saw Amuro working on this stuff, but like he never like I don't know. There's grime, there's grease, there's dirt, there's sand, there's Mars, there's red.
It's Mars, the red planet. We're not on Earth right now. We're on the other one.
Yeah.
Elon did it. Oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
Oh, beans.
Fuck. Mikazuki pulling up in the third division could not have the fucking Marda pulling up in this. Marda fucking skirting out the planet in the Tesla car spaceship.
the fucking mobile worker just like drifting into it, just obliterating it.
Yes! Marta getting like pancaked between a mobile worker and his Tesla because the handle froze over.
Got too much fucking Mars dust in it. Oh shit, we rated it on Earth. We thought it'd be fine. It's terraformed, right? Oh god. Okay. We're chomping at the bit. I think it's time to dive in, Sarah.
Yeah, I'm fucking excited. God damn.
All right. Okay. I usually I would have put a new type flash in between the episode number and name. They don't do new types in here. There is a fun noise that I can add in that will make sense like 3/4 of the way through the series. But until then, this is Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans, episode 1. Iron and Blood. On Mars, in Arbrow territory, in the Crise Autonomous Region, sits CGS, a private military company consisting of both adult and child soldiers. They are tasked with transporting Kudelia Ina Bernstein, the daughter of Crise's representative, to
Max?
Earth.
Sorry to interrupt, but I believe her name was Bernstein?
Yes, thank you so much, Sarah. They are tasked with transporting Kudelia Ina Bernstein, the daughter of Crise's representative, to Earth so she can negotiate for Martian independence from Earth. She becomes a target of Gjallarhorn, a military peacekeeping organization, after her father sells her out so her movement can be crushed. As Gjallarhorn attacks the CGS base to capture Kudelia, the adults try to escape so the kids will be killed, acting as their shields. The initial battle is ended as Mikazuki August, one of the CGS child soldiers, gets in Gundam Barbatos to fight off Gjallarhorn's mobile suits. Fucking good first episode, I think.
Great first episode. I took a screen cap of my notes after I had finished the first episode, and it was like, because I've had multiple issues with like the sticky notes app crashing and just like deleting all my notes without anything, I've just been doing all my notes in like Notepad.
That's how I do it.
So I had, I believe I was at 120 lines of notes by the end of the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 122 lines of notes. Though the first two of my notes are "Here I go" and Haro and the sunrise logo smiley face.
Yeah, you can see Haro. I mean, compared to me, again, I've been doing this podcast for close to 2 years. I have 142 lines for all 3 of the episodes combined. But again, I didn't even mention this. Sarah, you're a baby to the show. I'm not. This is a Gundam I've actually seen before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, yeah, that was one of the reasons I picked the show, because I was
yes.
like, there are 3 great ways to get me to watch something, which is number one, date me. Number 2, be a local friend of mine and we can hang out and like do anime nights together. Number 3 is to invite me on a podcast about it.
That's the thing. This is the podcaster's burden. What's the point of watching a show if I can't turn it into content?
Exactly, right?
I mean,
me in 4 months when Chainsaw Man anime comes out and I rev up I'm revving up Old Friends Chainsaw Dog Sanctuary podcast. It's something I'm very proud of.
That's very good.
Yeah.
And this series is very good because the very first thing you see is a kid killing a guy. Uh-oh.
Yeah. You see a kid just blasting a guy for some cash.
There's literally bloody dollar bills in the background.
Right. It's literally like this guy exploded into money like fucking Sonic.
Yeah, he did the...
Yeah.
Orga, who should I throw on the spikes to get their rings next?
Hold on, Orga. I just heard a wow sound. I think we need more than one bullet.
Hey, Orga, can you grab me and hover me up to that building over there with your weird, propeller headbangs?
Orga, come on, player 2. I can't beat this level just as me alone.
God. I guess that makes Eugene Knuckles then? I don't know.
Biscuit more.
Yeah, no,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the core of, is it, I kept forgetting, is it it's like a really generic, is it Team 3, like Division 3?
I think they're Team 3.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was, but that just sounds so generic. I was like, you definitely did not remember that, right? Though I guess in Naruto, they're also like Team 3, I think.
But they're only Team 3 for not even 3 episodes, so it's not really worth remembering, but
now I'm just mapping all of Team 3 onto the 6 playable characters in Sonic Adventure Director's Cut, because you've got
shit, that's good.
You got your Sonic, you got your Tails, you got your Knuckles, and I do think Akihiro would be Knuckles in this case.
No, you're absolutely right. Okay, yeah, Akihiro's Knuckles.
And then it was Omega, Big the Cat, and Amy, right? Those are the other 3?
So Kudelia Ina Berenstain is Amy.
Yes. I think Omega is...
No, it's Gamma. Omega's from Sonic Heroes.
Yes, you're right. Sorry, I played much more Sonic Heroes than I played.
Here's the thing, Sarah. I don't know why you're thinking so hard about this. The Gundam's Gamma.
Well, yeah, but then Eugene or Biscuit is on the outs. Which one?
Okay, all right, fair.
So Eugene and Biscuit are big and Gamma, and I'm going to just say I think Biscuit is big for me. Which, I mean, yes. They are both large, but they also are both, friend-shaped.
They're very friend-shaped. They're very nice. They're very sweet.
So I guess that leaves Eugene to be Gamma, which that's...
He can be seen as cold and robotic in some cases, sure.
Well, no, okay, in that case, then I think, if we break up the Sonic Tails pair, then I think, Eugene would probably be better in, that brings Mikazuki down to Gamma for me, based on
honestly,
what you just said.
You know what, though? Mika works as Gamma, though.
Yeah, so then he's Sonic for Orga and then Tails for Eugene there.
Yeah, perfect.
Eugene just doesn't map into this particularly well, I don't think, because there's not I know he's one of your favorite characters. I'm sure he will get better, but from my notes in these first 3 episodes, he's just very much guy who sucks in my notes.
Oh no, he was like that for me too. He'll grow on you.
Yeah. I very much enjoyed I listen, across all media that I've enjoyed over my time, one of my personal favorite character archetypes is blonde shithead.
You're in for a treat.
I'm trying, the examples of this I already give are the most controversial one I think is Joffrey from Game of Thrones. I love that little shit so much. Mm-hmm. Saionji from Danganronpa 2 is in this. I'm trying to think about. There's one that I always point to that I can't remember. Sadoko from Higurashi. I love her.
Okay.
And so I think Eugene could really grow to fill that arc, to fill that, that love that I have.
Yeah.
For these guys,
he will fill the archetype over time.
Yeah.
So this is like this whole first thing. This is just a flashback. This is so
babies.
Black hair kid Mikazuki August. He's our main character. He's the Gundam pilot. Not yet though. He's just a guy. And Orga, who is like Orga is so fucking cool. This guy's hair kicks ass.
He's got Absol hair.
He has Absol hair, but like he does this really cool thing where he'll lean his head back and he'll close the eye that's in the shadow of his like weird wispy foot-long Pokemon Black and White 2 Colress bangs. Like he's just kind of fucking cool with it, and we like Orga.
Yeah,
we like
cool
all of them.
I do not much enjoy Eugene, but like aside from that. Mm-hmm. Everyone I've met in this first episode is tremendous.
Yeah, it's a good first impression. And they all have pretty fun names. Like Mikazuki August, Orga Itsuka, those are cool. Eugene Seven Stark is his name, which is pretty cool.
Stark?
Eugene Seven Stark.
Well, fuck, Ned and Kat have been busy.
Yeah, it's like in Nordic countries where you're named after your parent. It's like your name one and then your parent's last name. Yeah. Oh god, that's good.
I just enjoy Biscuit. We'll get to his sisters in the next episode, but Biscuit is... I have such an affinity for, like, fat characters in anime, just, like, across... Like, one of the first characters that I really, like, felt like I kind of saw myself a little bit in was, God, I'm gonna show my ass a little bit by calling him by his dub name, but JP from Digimon Frontier.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I really enjoy that, but the thing about JP is that he's very much, like, a fat character, like, with the negative content, like, he's, like, obsessed with food, and he's just, like, kind of... but, like, I don't know, I just like to see a fat character who is nice and not, like, we are not just seeing him shoveling food into his mouth.
Right, it's not his personality, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Biscuit's, like maybe one of the most level-headed of, like, all the kids. He's, like, almost the brains of the operation in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I like him and his hat. He looks like a, he looks like a... Who was the gym leader that like had like the 40s aviator look going on? Not the 40s, like the fucking the aviator look.
So there's the Frontier Brain Norman who has the same kind of hat Biscuit does. I think it's like a sort of like almost like a newsboy cap. Who the fuck gym leader is I mean, there's Skyla, but she's like more of a sexy aviator.
Yeah, no, it's not Scott. I could have sworn there was like a gym leader with like a fucking... I'm thinking of the fucking Digidestined girl from season 2 of Digimon. Never mind.
You're thinking of Yoli?
Yeah, I'm thinking of her.
I always confuse Pokemon. She could be a gym leader in a different universe.
Like, look at those. Like, are you telling me that fucking Davis, okay, not Davis, but like Ken looks like a gym leader, right? Like,
yeah, I know he has that little gym leader swag.
Maybe not a gym leader, but like an N type something.
He's a rival character. I mean, he literally is a rival character in the show,
right?
So.
But like Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, yeah, we're on Mars. We do see the Gundam. It doesn't do anything. It's just kind of like kneeling there, all hooked up. You know, it's the Gundam because the fucking like Razer PC cables are all like tricolor to match the white and the red and the yellow and the blue.
I love how like thick and heavy those cables looked.
Yeah,
like it's just a real there's a real heft to this that it's not to say that I think that Gundam looked small in what I saw of 79 and in 79 or what I saw of Zeta, but like there is a scale here, that a weight to this thing that I feel like I have not really felt in Gundams that I've seen thus far. And, you know, like, guy who's only seen Boss Baby Voice, like, the weight of this, the weight of everything in Evangelion in particular it's a little bit reminiscent of that for me. Like, like, one of the things that I really do love about Eva is the scale of everything. Like, it does make things feel appropriately large or small. And, like, I think the size of, I don't know, I just like the size of the things that are happening in this one.
No, I'm with you. The space fights, you don't really get that scale quite as much because, again, you're in the vast nothingness of space. But the fights on the ground, they do a really good job showing, like, it's like a fucking mid-2000s Xbox shooter. It's like, oh, environmental damage is possible with the new power of 2015's anime crew. It's like what that is. It's like just dust is like just everything's all chunked up and
right.
And again, there's
the dust was used as like a fighting tool like multiple times in these episodes. Like the terrain was used as a as like a really a weapon almost. There's a line that I poked at or that I saw early in this that I enjoyed, which is like Mikazuki is talking to the what's her name? The girl with the white tank top and the blonde. I don't know if she's like an important character, but she like shows up in the first episode. She's doing landmine drills with the kid who loved boobies and got kicked into a
that's
million
not
pieces.
a girl. No, that's a boy. That's a boy. That is Takaki, the one who gets hit with like the baton.
Takaki, yeah.
Yeah, Takaki.
I just kind of thought that was a girl. Like okay. But, okay, I guess that doesn't make any sense. I guess the context of this note doesn't make any sense to me anymore. I don't remember the context of this line, but someone says Mikazuki isn't hungry for girls, which, true. Mikazuki is hungry for blood.
Yeah, that's the thing. Mikazuki is like, he doesn't care about, getting with anyone. He just wants to fucking brain someone with a big mace.
Yes.
He did a full strength build in Dark Souls, and he got the Theme Ultra Greatsword, and he's like, I want to do this in real life.
He wants to do, yeah. He just, he cares about two things, killing and Orga.
Exactly.
He cares about killing Orga and killing for Orga.
Exactly. That's his Venn diagram.
Like, okay, this is the thing, this is a good segue to talk about the thing that I told you I was going to talk about with,
yes.
I am not like a huge shipping brain person, like, there are people in my life who are much bigger into it. Like, I'm not a big fan fiction reader. I just like, enjoying, like, it's mostly just like an art happening across my timeline.
Yeah,
like,
a casual observer.
Yeah, I won't act like I haven't been doing this for a long time. Like, I have been a big, like, Naramitsu from Ace Attorney for, like, ever since I played that game, like, for the first time 15 years ago. But there is one, like, shipping dynamic that always cuts to my core, and I've heard it referred to as like the King and Lionheart, which it's named after the Monsters and Men song, which I'm showing it's a bit, I'm being a bit cringe, but I'm also being a bit free about this.
No, this is a safe space to say wild shit, because I guarantee you nothing you say could probably get close to the wild shit we would have said in earlier seasons. The closest thing that I can
approximate it to with like in other things is like the most romantic imaginable right hand man kind of thing. You like. I'm trying to think of like a non-platonic version of what Captain Amelia and the guy who was made of rock in Treasure Planet had.
Honestly, so it's like this complete devotion towards someone.
Yes, exactly. Yes, just like the way that Mikazuki is just like willing to follow Orga into any like it's that post like, if Orga has 10,000 followers, I am one of them. If Orga has 100 followers, I am one of them. If Orga has 1 follower, I am one of them. If Orga has 0 followers, I am no longer on this earth.
If the world is against Orga, then I am against the world.
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, I am also like that. I fucking love Orga. It's like Orga's his guiding star.
Yes.
Orga's like his counterpart.
Yes.
It's cool to see that like sort of juxtaposed with the main thing Orga has him do is murder.
Right.
But it makes for fun character development.
He's his Lionheart.
Exactly. One thing I did notice, and you might notice this a lot, Mikazuki's voice actor, it's not that they're not trying, but like his character is so subdued, really quiet,
right? Really disaffected in a really great way, and I think that Mikazuki really projects an air that is very hard to get a read on, and like,
oh yeah,
I think that the way that like Aina interacts with him is really emblematic of this, because like everyone around him is just like used to him being like this, but like we as the audience are not like, I think we are supposed to experience him like kind of the way that Aina is. And I kept calling her Aina in my notes because that's the part of her name that I latched onto before.
It's the easiest one to type out, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, definitely.
But in the dub, and I'm watching the dub for the first time in my Gundam history, again, because I watched this up originally, he's a lot more lively. I wouldn't say he's livelier. I wouldn't say he's lively, but there is a lot more emotion in his voice. And it's not really like the Mika that I'm used to, but at the same time, it does help portray him as he's just a kid. Like, these kids are all like 15, 16, 17.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a Gundam show that really makes you feel that more than others. Like, it's pretty obvious in 0079, they're all kids.
Right.
And Camille in Zeta, he's still childlike, but he doesn't quite feel like he's the same age Amuro was when he got into Gundam.
I think also at the same time, like, there is no, like, lower bound in this of ages. Like when I say lower bound, I'm talking about like in 7-9 there were Cats, the
Cats,
three
Kika,
kids.
and Let's, yeah.
Yes, thank you. Cats, Kika, and Let's, who are like the you know, Amuro and everyone, like Mirai and all those characters, these are young people, these are like these are children, but like they are being juxtaposed against children, like 5-6-year-old children. And so I think that makes them feel a little bit older. But here, like, the youngest that we have is like not that much younger than these kids. Like, certainly there is a younger group of people. We see, like, in the OP even, we see some kids, but like Atra, to name Atra or Danji, to name a couple of, you know, those slightly younger characters that we see, are not really that young. Like Cookie and Cracker, even, like, they are definitely the youngest people we've seen in the show, but like the way to which they pitch in does not make them feel quite as young as the way Katz, Let's, and
yes,
I keep forgetting her
Kika.
name. Kika, yes. The way that they really feel like they are not participating, they are simply there as like something to be protected, whereas these kids are very much like in the shit of it. When I was watching 79, there was really not a part where I was worried that, like, despite the amount of mortality that was happening around them, there was never really a point that I was worried Katz, Kika, or Let's were going to die.
Yeah.
I cannot say the same about, like, the young characters that I was... Like, the first character who we see well, not the first character we see die, but, like, the first main character we see die is
Danji.
Is Danji, who's like who looks like 12, 13, if I had to guess.
I want to say the lower bound of these characters is like 11, 12.
Yeah, I would, yeah. If Cookie and Cracker were single digits, that would not surprise me, but like very, like close to that, yeah.
Yeah. It's like... clearly the show's, I mean, the name itself, Iron-Blooded Orphans.
Right.
That's a lot of scary words. And the show, episode 1, out the gate, it shows you it's not afraid to, like, you know, show people dying.
Kill a kid.
Yeah, and, like, Danji dies not even in, like, the regular Gundam way of, like, oh, he blew up in his mobile suit. No, he gets, like, his mobile worker gets just fucking kicked by a grave.
Right.
And it's just, like, shattered and obliterated. And it's just, like, there's no ceremony to it. It's just, like, oh, fuck, bye. Like, the show is real. And again, it's, like, Japanese TV ratings board. I thought this was a kid's show. No. Not so.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's heavy. It gets you.
It really is.
Let
me I'm scanning over my notes. I took way too many notes for this.
Yeah, no. I mean,
we can talk about some of the other characters who we saw who were not part of the. We can definitely come back to CGS eventually, but I kind of want to talk a little bit about the other characters that we met. So the other major characters that we met, I don't think we got names for a couple of them later in the episode.
I can give you the names if you don't have them.
Yeah, okay, because the names I'm going with are, we meet two Gellerhorn, like inspectors, part of the inspector division, and my notes, they are Garma and Kai Kisk from Guilty Gear.
Yeah, okay, that's the exact same hair, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And we also meet the general who's got like the fade, who's like the one who like passes the instructions along to the three guys he sends out in mobile suits. Grazes. He gives the instructions to Ein, Orlis, and Crank.
This motherfucker named Crank.
It's Crank.
His name is Crank Zent.
We don't get much of these characters in these episodes. All we get really, well, do we have a name for that general who like was the one who sent the Gellerhorn attack on?
He's General Coral.
Coral, okay.
He's around for a while, because again, he's in like this Galahorn base named Ares that's kind of like chilling. It's like sitting, it's like almost like an orbital station. It's a sort of way station. We get exposition why it's there in the first place. It's like, because Galahorn is essentially this whole like military peacekeeping organization. It very much is like not pacifism by force, but
I wonder if there's any themes about the fact that it's a military peacekeeping organization.
Sarah, if you think Gundam has themes, you're sorely mistaken.
Yeah, they're for 8th grade book reports, I'm told.
Yeah, but the main characters, like, honestly, in these episodes, it's the main three are Orlis, Ein, and Crank, but like McGillis Farid is the blonde, is Kai Kisuke. Okay. And Galio Baldwin is Garma.
Garma, gotcha.
Keep an eye on this spot, let's say.
What was the Kai Kisuke's, what was the Kai Kisuke's guy's name again?
His name is McGillis Farid.
So McGillis like literally says out loud when in the scene where we meet him, like he refers to Gellerhorn as keepers of the world order, and also he like says that the current economy on Earth requires Mars to keep contributing. The line needs to go up.
Yes, number go up, please. Number go up.
Please, number go up.
an interesting bit of world building here. So Gjallarhorn is this sort of intermediary blanket organization governing like peace between Earth and Mars. Whereas Earth is essentially to the point, it's so far in the future, there are 4 main economic blocks that are controlling all of Earth and Mars. Arbrow is one of them. Arbrow is where Crise, the territory, is like situated within. We get all this exposition of like, you know, all the strain that Earth puts on Mars because, Mars is like a largely untapped planet that has so many more like natural mineral resources to bring to Earth, which is like the reason why Kudelia is traveling to Earth to negotiate for like independence, because it is a show about colonization. The allegory it uses isn't really like, it's not as racially charged as colonization is in real life. It's one of those things where it's like fraught no matter what way you try and tackle it. But, you know, this very much is one of the main themes of the show of like, you know, independence, finding your place, being free of exploitation, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And this is obviously something that we're going to be able to explore as we go along with the show. But this is like one of the main themes to keep in back of your mind.
Yeah. I'm putting it back there.
Yeah. What else is there? So, you know, we're on Mars. The Gundam's there. We sort of like see the kids going about their days.
There was something that I wanted to talk about that I wasn't exactly clear about. Coral, after his meeting with Norman, who has sold his daughter up the river, who has sold his daughter Aina up the river to get her killed. Norman seems to be going there with the purpose of like cutting the head off the Hydra, of cutting the head off of the Mars like rebellion thing. The cries. But then when Coral like goes away, he's like he has an internal monologue about like basically like the gist of the internal monologue is that he is intending to martyr this girl.
Yes, this is something I'm a little unclear on still. This is me not remembering everything from when I first saw the show.
I'm sure it will become clear because but the thing is that Coral makes reference to the word he makes reference to Noblesse, which I assumed was like some other governing body, but it turns out like Noblesse is just like a guy.
It's a dude who has like fuck off money.
Like it's Scrooge like the fucking Scrooge McDuck. And so it is my interpretation of this was that Coral is like this is a cash cow for him, and like he is so excited to take this mission on because he knows it will make tensions worse and make Gjallarhorn even more necessary. Is because I when I first watched this I interpreted Gjallarhorn as like an arm of Earth, which I'm sure like I'm sure that will come up at some variety, like who they really answer to at the end of the day. But I guess I was just a little bit confused about all of that.
So from what I remember, Gjallarhorn has like different branches. There's the Earth branch and the Mars branch. And I want to say he's trying to get Aina killed. Well, I mean, he's trying to get Aina killed, because her dad wants to get her killed.
Yes.
But also, by doing that, he can effectively stoke the fires of revolution and unrest on Mars, which will allow Gjallarhorn Mars to crack down even more, which will, I think, like, curry them favor because they were able to put down all of this unrest to show, like,
gotcha.
Oh yeah, Gjallarhorn Mars really can put the fucking pedal to the grindstone when the time comes to it. So it's like even within Gjallarhorn itself, there's like factions and different sides to take.
Yeah,
and like we're not going to see. I honestly do not remember if we even like deal with Gjallarhorn Earth much until like a pretty good amount into the show. But it's one of those things that obviously will get expanded on as we talk about it. But yeah, it's interesting. Gjallarhorn is a very cool organization and is really different from, say, your Principality of Zeon.
Yeah,
in that. Their goals are different because they've already they've achieved peace with a billion asterisks behind it, sure,
right.
Because there was this thing called the Calamity War and they stopped that, which is why they're kind of in charge now. But it's at the point where like the unrest is bubbling up once again, and like they're the ones who like it. A lot of again. All I'm saying is like Gjallarhorn is a very important faction in this show, as one could assume because they have mobile suits.
Yeah, it's like compared to what the Principality of Zeon in 79. I mean, obviously, like the analog that the show draws is like Nazis. Like they are very much like an expanding governing body, whereas the vibe I get from Gjallarhorn is like more space cop than anything.
Yeah,
especially this really plays into that where it's like, well, cops need, to make to foster, worse relations, more tension, so that they can get out there, get their big money, and get their money, and fucking crack down on people so that they can get more money and just continue to build their own reason for existence.
Kind of, yeah, and like you will see more of that as it goes on. But yeah, you've kind of like hit the nail on the head with like how Gjallarhorn presents itself early on in the show. It very much is like, we gotta cause shit to make sure that we still have a place to prevent shit from being caused by us. They're played like an Ouroboros.
They played Twisted Metal 3 and got the ending where the two cops wished for a world without crime and then they didn't have jobs.
Exactly. Speaking of jobs, we learn eventually CGS, which is Crise Guard Security, I believe.
Yes.
They are the ones who are tasked with this sort of like sham mission to transport Kudelia to Earth.
CGS stands for computer games.
It's computer game software.
Yeah.
So like Kudelia goes to CGS to meet with the boys, and like it's really, the show's like playing its hand early in that the adults at CGS are barely there. It's like everything is the interactions Kudelia has with all the kids. I mean, It's not called it's not, the show's not called Iron Blooded Adult People, right?
Right. Yeah. And also like it's like, I don't know. I feel like what I saw of, what was that guy in Zeta who like just smacked the shit out of Camille was it like Mr. Lee or something?
Oh fuck, that was Wong.
Wong, yes, thank you.
Fuck that guy.
I feel like in Wong's like first couple of appearances, he wasn't like a good guy, but like he was not like that. And then him like hitting Camille, like I could be completely talking out of my ass, and he could have just like first time on the screen just like bat smacked Camille. But in my recollection, like, I feel like he was not as immediately an evil guy. Like, these guys, even in their looks, like, are very clearly, like...
Yeah!
Like, there's the one guy who's got, like, the beer gut, which is, thanks, like, great. Love the visual shorthand guys. He's also got a really unfortunate mustache.
Yeah. I regret to say Toto is a decently important character.
Yeah, okay. Well, he seems like he might suck in a fun way. But like there's also like a blonde guy with like really huge like buck teeth and like just a lot of visual shorthand of like these guys are ugly and therefore evil.
Yeah, like they didn't need to go that far because again they're clearly like asshole adults who love being in charge.
Literally the first thing you see Toto, the guy with the beer gut and the bad mustache, do, like he hits a kid. That's the first thing you see. His introduction is smacking Takako. Was that the name? Takaki.
Yeah.
Like, the very first time you see him. Like, there is very... You don't need the shorthand, guys. You've already got You're already showing it to
like,
me.
He's so, like, sniveling and conniving, too. Mm-hmm. And we'll see later on, he sticks around, but it's just like, God, I wish he didn't look like that.
Yeah, please someone, like, shave the mustache.
And like, it's a thing because... Iron-Blooded Orphans has, like, they have a wide variety of, like, different skin tones and body types.
Yeah.
So you think they're being progressive in one sense, and then you look at the guy who has the fucking Charlie Chaplin mustache and a beer gut and is, like, a complete fucking, like, Weasley tool, and it's like, we didn't need this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe I'd be giving the show too much credit at this point to go this far, but maybe that could be on purpose in some capacity. Like not the visual shorthand of like these characters are ugly, they have buck teeth, Charlie Chaplin mustache, they're fat, they're ugly, we hate them. But like the lack of such diversity, I think, could have been on purpose to some extent. Like the thematically, like, okay, well, these guys, like, because the assumption that I took, and this could be completely proven wrong, but what I got from this is that, like, the first division guys were, at one point, the third division guys. Like, they had come up through these ranks, but that might be actually, now that I think about it, that doesn't make any sense. They would have a lot more sympathy for the kids that they were grinding under their boot if that was the case.
Uh-huh.
Anyways.
Yeah, it's like, it's just, the point is, like, the show clearly isn't worried about making any of the adults likable to a fault. But again, the adults aren't likable.
I have met one likable adult, and that was Fumitan.
Oh god, Fumitan fucking rules.
Fumitan is Aina's like her kind of bodyguard, I'm assuming, like
bodyguard assistant. Yeah. She's like her sort of like she's her right hand essentially.
Yeah.
She rules. She has a cool dress, cool glasses, cool hair bun.
She's like a mid late 20s ish woman. I would
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, I like her a lot.
Something like that. Yeah, the weird thing is with IBO, there are no canonical ages to the characters. So we can only guess. By the way, you said you thought Atra was young. Atra is Mikazuki's age.
Really? Just small.
She's just very small. And again, Mikazuki is small too. He's a little guy.
Is such a little guy. It's so
He's
cute.
simply tiny with it. I love
the scene in episode 2 when like he walks past the truck that Atra is standing in front of, and they're both like a whole head shorter than like the front
it's
of the
so
truck.
nice.
It's so cute. They're so
Dude,
little.
They're simply small with it. I know that you wanted to talk about.
I'm just imagining Mikazuki with like his jacket buttoned up and like walking like the kid from A Christmas Story.
Yeah, he's like just trying to trundling around. Like arms out to his side because he can't put him down.
Yes.
I know you wanted to talk about the scene where Kudelia tries to introduce herself to Mikazuki, and he's like, "Oh, hands fucked up. Sorry."
Yep, because so the scene that happens is like Kudelia gets herself introduced to the boys. She meets I think Orga, Mikazuki,
Orga, Eugene, and Biscuit.
Yeah, Biscuit and
I think Akihiro might be there too.
No,
because
sure. It's weird because Orga says like he refers to 5 people, but there's only 4 that we see. At least that I could see. I could only see, Eugene, Biscuit, Orga, and Mikazuki. But I digress. Kudelia like walks up to one of them and just like picks Mikazuki out of the lineup, just seemingly at random, and like offers to shake his hand, and is like, "Hey, please show me around," and extends her hand for the handshake, and Mikazuki just like turns and walks away.
He just goes.
There's something else that happens in between that, and the next scene I'm about to talk about, but I digress. The next scene that we have with them is Mikazuki just like walking down the hall and just like being like, "That's that. We have our
so it's like a whirlwind tour.
Yeah, we got the lunches over there. We got an AHAB reactor. We got this, that. And
we have an ACAB reactor.
This is why we hate Gellerhorn. But Kudelia is having a hard time keeping up with her high heels, and she walks up to him and is like, "Wait, no, I wanted a handshake." She like sticks her hand out and then takes her like dainty white glove off and like sticks her hand out in a really cute way. And she begins being like, "Oh, well, I want to be on your level. It's you can shake my hand." And then he's like, "I didn't want to shake your hand because I had oil on it." But I guess that's already a divider between us, huh? You would never have. He's eating cereal very calmly, knowing that he will not have to spit it out and saying you will never have oil on your hands.
Yeah, the exact line he says in the dub is, "Oh well, I guess that means the two of us weren't on equal terms to begin with."
Yeah, that's more or less what he says in the sub.
And they, not only Mikazuki, but like all of the kids are, I say kids, all of the third unit, I guess, are like just really wary of Kudelia. They don't really care for her, and like a lot of them are beginning to suspect that like it's like this whole situation is a really bad idea. Something bad's gonna happen. So it's like they're trying to avoid her, and like they don't. It's like bad luck almost that like being around her. It seems
right. But
she's nice.
She's nice. I love her. She's just the face that she makes when she takes off her glove and extends her hand for Mikazuki is just so fucking cute.
She's a really good face later on too in another episode.
Apex of like to me the 2 apexes of character design are witch that sucks and character who has a bunch of hearts all over them. This is why neither of these characters, witch who sucks I'm putting aside. I'm sure there'll be a witch who sucks in this. Not an actual witch in Gundam, but like of the vibes of a witch that sucks.
Oh my god, I am nodding so hard.
For additional reading on witches that suck, I would recommend looking at The Owl House and the second season of ReZero. But the second one is this is why Aina and Higashikata Josuke are the best character designs that ever existed. Because all their design is hearts. Like every time Aina has her hair down, it's like making a big old heart, and then there's a heart on the inside of like negative space.
Yeah, I love her. Her hair is so fucking sick.
Yeah. Also, other characters with heart motifs is Kokoro from Sleepless Domain webcomic. I mean, her name is.
I mean, her
name's literally Heart, right? Like,
yeah, name just means heart, exactly. So whatever, they're chilling. It's like nighttime, and eventually they get attacked at the CGS base. It's like one of the kids even mentions like, "Wow, whoever's attacking this must be really rich because of all the ammo they're using."
Yep. There was there was a scene during this like assault on the CGS base that really confused me, and it might have just been like the sub translation, at least on Crunchyroll, is not.
It's a bit
very
weird,
good.
isn't it?
Like it feels like there's a lack of character voice to like in these decisions. Like, and by character voice, I mean like the voice actors themselves are doing great. Like I love them. Like particularly Orga's, for example, is like a really really strong voice. But the way that like it's as if the same character is talking no matter what line.
Yeah,
is
there's not really personality coming through for anyone.
Like I don't know, like he like there's a like hold on, let me see if I can find this. No. Like
I know what you're talking about though when they're talking about the mobile workers.
Yeah, like Orga refers to Maruda, who is like the big stogie, the big like doink smoking CEO of CGS.
Yeah, I'm walking here.
Yeah, he refers to him as quite a scum later on, and like even setting aside like the translation error of quite a scum, like where it should have been like quite a scummy person or something. Like Orga, like that just seems like a way of talking that Orga would not do. I don't know. Like
Orga would call him a piece of shit.
Yeah, Orga would not say he's quite a scummy guy. Like it's very. I remember there were some people in the server complaining about this, so I was on high alert for it. But like, there's a real transliteration going on here that is just like really not doing the character's voice justice.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you, and it honestly the dub is quite good like in that regard.
If anyone has a lead on a better sub than the one that's available on Crunchyroll, do let me know. Because if not, and if it keeps being like this, I might like jump to the dub, which is like, I can't think of the last time I watched a dub of anything. So, I genuinely don't think I've watched a dub of... No, you know what it was? It was Evangelion. That was the last dub I watched.
And that's a pretty good one, too.
Yeah, that dub is great.
So they're all fighting, and people are saying things in their character voices, of course, and they kind of realize that the first group, the adults, are all like retreating on the other side of the battle. So for reference, for those who haven't seen it, CGS is kind of like on a hill within a valley, so it's like elevated terrain. So the boys are kind of fighting downhill towards where Gjallarhorn is approaching, and adults are retreating like off to like, I'd say like a third of the way around the hill down the other side. So they're like sort of out of sight. So they had this plan, and because at this point, the third unit had kind of realized that this is all a trap, that they were kind of being set up. Yeah. So what they did is they essentially set flares rigged on the vehicles that the adults were all escaping in to fire and draw attention. And I laughed my fucking ass off at this scene because I don't know what it was like in the dub or in the sub, but in the dub, Orga turns to Biscuit and says, "Time for us to change the game." And Biscuit literally says, "So true." And I'm like, "So true, bestie." So true, and he fucking fires the flares, and Gjallarhorn immediately like does like the fucking Metal Gear, and like half of them like retreat over to the side to like kick the adults' asses. Yeah. It's great.
It's really good.
And then we even see that they're running into the landmines that the boys had been burying at the very beginning of the episode. It's Chekhov's landmine.
That scene made me laugh really hard because the Takaki and Danji are burying the landmines, and they're like, "Oh man, these landmine burial drills are brutal." And then some other character walks by, who's some of the unnamed character, was like, "Yeah, they're just having a laugh with us. The next day, tomorrow is landmine removal drills."
Yeah, it's great. And it's like, oh, hey, they did it for us. Wonderful. How nice.
Very lucky that this came on the day that they did landmine placement and not landmine removal drills.
Exactly. Before the mobile suits show up, though, we talk about a lot about mobile workers, which are these really cool. They remind me, and you might agree with me here, Sarah. They're giving me Tachikoma vibes from Ghost in the Shell.
Tachikoma,
quite a bit.
I've seen Ghost in the Shell. It's been a minute.
Tachikoma is like the sort of like wheelie spider tank thing.
Yes. You know what it made me think of? Those like the things that are like the bionicles that like turned into like balls or something.
The Borok.
Yes.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. The bionicle. They're these really cool. They're like these boxy like they look almost like takeout containers on wheels.
Yes.
They're like rice cookers on wheels. They're very silly looking, but, they have guns, they have wheels, they scoot around quite fast. Like, we see Mika and Akihiro, like, beating ass, just, like, spinning these things around, firing like crazy, and they're, like, ace pilots on them, basically. But, like, Gjallarhorns are clearly much nicer. Like, they have these, like, cannons with matching paint jobs. It's, like, dark red with the sort of Gjallarhorn sigil on the side, and, like, this is the sort of main, like, mechanized infantry unit that's like the step below an actual mobile suit. And it's cool that like the show doesn't go straight from people on the ground to a 15-meter tall death robot.
Right, and I think
it's nice having that intermediary.
Yeah, and this really definitely opens up like other people in the show to be players, and I think this is going to also lead to a lot more people in the show fucking dying, because like barring a special like jumping back to 79, because again that's my only point of reference for this. Like if a big scary thing is happening, like the only people in really immediate danger are the pilots. And I mean, like, White Base is still in danger, but the only way, like, any specific one person on White Base dies is if everybody on White Base dies, pretty much.
Exactly.
And so the only people experiencing individual risk are the people who are out there in the mobile suits, like, Amuro and Hayato and, Lala and Char and all these people. And so the one exception apparently being Kaisili.
You're not safe when fucking Char Asimel's rocketing around with a bazooka.
Right.
No one's safe.
He's fucking TF2 rocket jumping around.
Yeah, he plays the God.
He's the soldier. But
he's the
like the mobile workers really like one of the things that I had a problem with 79 is that like, and this is not like inherently a bad thing about it, this is just a personal preference thing, like I much prefer like a Team Sentai show to a fucking a Kamen Rider. And I like Kamen Rider. I've enjoyed what I've seen of God, I'm completely blanking on the space one, the one with Gintaro, Kamen Rider Forze. But I really like the idea of other characters being able to get involved in these fights in ways that are not just like, sitting on White Base and like typing at something or something like that. And I recognize that this is also going to open up a lot more characters to getting individually killed, because like, in 79, Donji would not have died except as like part of a mass casualty event, like what killed Fa's parents in episode 1. Fa was her name, right? No, Fa was in Zeta. What was the girl's name in 79?
Oh, Fraubo.
Fraubo, thank you. Yeah, like when her parents get exploded when that cliff collapses in episode 1 of Gundam.
Mm-hmm.
Like in 79, Donji would not have had a way to die like this unless he was like, Kai's girlfriend that got bumped off a plane.
Exactly.
But I like these things a lot. These are like basically a new addition to Gundam, like these mobile workers.
There's like petite mobiles we see in Zeta and Double Zeta that don't really quite do this job. But like as far as from the Gundam I've seen, at least the Gundam I'm familiar with, these are a very unique case in that this is like this is the main mechanized infantry unit that you see a lot throughout the entire show, because we can't build a ton of mobile suits. That's just expensive, but we can build a bunch of little boxes on wheels with gun strapped to them.
Right. We can't. Death Star's expensive. Droideka's cheap.
Hey, oh, we love the Droideka here.
I'm a huge Droideka is definitely one of my favorite parts of the prequels, and I'm a prequels enjoyer.
Oh yeah, you and me both. So again, mobile worker doesn't really stand up to like the swift kick of a Graze, because these are our Zakus effectively.
Yeah, the Grazes, yeah.
The EB06 Graze, and the name itself was a reference to Zaku because the Zaku model number is MS06. So MS06, EB06. I posted an image of the Graze in our scheduling chat as a sort of reference. It has like almost that same Zaku color, just like a little bit of darker green. It's a very pleasing drab green.
Very long legs on this, and the heel. Who is she?
Oh, the heels are so good. And what's so fucking sick about the Graze is, so you look at the head, and the head is like this sort of like, it looks like a stapler almost. It kind of swishes forward into this like tall rectangular mono eye.
It's the fucking it's the Crimson Chin stapler.
Yeah. But the head opens up for an actual, it's like a fucking Zelda boss on the inside. It's this really cool, like, actual, like, sphere eye. The Grazes are so sick. I love them. They are such a cool grunt suit. And like we get to see all sorts of weird fucked up Grazes over time in the show. It's just like, it's like the Zaku is like iterated upon in 0079 to get like, you get the goof out of it and you get the Gelgoog eventually. And the Graze is a very cool base for what they'll be throwing at you later on.
Yeah, I like this. They're going to be, this is a great, a great base.
Yeah. Much like how a mobile worker is not a match for the Graze. The Graze is not a Gundam. but we do have a Gundam.
Yeah. Donji, the character we mentioned earlier, gets, he's like, oh, you can't shoot the base, that's where my friends are, and he, like, drives right into the mobile suit, kicking his
foolishly charges forward by Donji.
This is the second time he foolishly charges forward, and, like, the first time he foolishly charged forward, he got his ass saved by Mikazuki in a mobile suit, because, like, he was like, oh, I gotta be on the front lines to be the hero of this war. He's got his protagonist syndrome. And it's like,
exactly,
dude, like, just think about where the camera has been for the last 20 minutes. Like, has it been on you?
Yeah, seriously. No, Donji. I don't think you have a last name, Donji.
Yeah.
So yeah, like these monstrous suits and oh shit, we can't even fight that. Like, mobile worker can't really take down a mobile suit. If you have a bunch, you can chip away at it and eventually take it down. But like when it's one jetting around, like kicking suits, like kicking mobile workers away, there's not much you can do.
And Orlis is like engaging in this with like Orlis, the guy piloting the Greys that just killed Donji and is going ape shit on the CGS base. Like he is engaging in this with like a childlike glee. He is just like
it's like freaky.
It's like he's like smurfing. He's like, he made a fresh Overwatch account. He's tired of being an Overwatch like top rank.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I want to just go back to when it was fun. I could just beat the shit out of people. And he's just like solo carrying 1v6 the entire lobby, just like, perfect 6-man dead eyes every single time.
Yeah. And Crank hates this too. So for some context, if I remember correctly, Orlis used to be Crank's like sort of student.
Yes.
And Orlis was put in charge of this operation. So Crank, who's like the older veteran, has to like be on the sidelines. And he's so mad. He's telling Ein like, don't bother. Like Orlis is going ahead and he's telling Orlis to stop because like he knows that the kids can't really fight back, but Orlis just wants to kill. He's having a great time. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's fucked up to see because again, it very much is an ACAB type situation where Gjallarhorn is this whole space cop organization that can act largely with impunity.
Right. And
what we see is Eugene and Orga, like they ride their sort of mobile worker command, like they're zipping it around, like, hey, come get me, you can't catch me, nah.
Yeah.
They stop in front of a hangar, and Orga calls out to Mikazuki, and then it plays the main theme of the show, that really sick like orchestral with the Spanish guitar in the background, as Mikazuki August pulls out the biggest fucking battle mace you've ever seen and just brains this mobile suit.
Absolutely craters him.
Oh, it's like, so good.
The way we were talking about this in the server, and like the way that like this thing crumples in a way that like 79, this thing gets cut in half by a beam saber or something, or like lasered through or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like this sword does not break through the exterior of this Graze that Orlis is piloting. It just flattens it.
It's so sick. And like we see the Gundam. This is Barbatos. We don't get the name until next episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a fun bit of trivia later on, but like this thing is such a cool redesign of like the classic Gundam. Mm-hmm. It is so different. It's like scary. It's demonic. It's sharp and angular and angry looking. And like, it's like, you can tell there is this very well-designed metal frame underneath the weirder white, tricolor red, yellow, blue armor bits on it. It's so fucking cool. I love this Gundam.
It's fucking incredible. One of my favorite little details about this first episode is the way this episode ends, which is like Mikazuki, like we get a shot of him in the cockpit, shirtless as everyone has to be when piloting these things.
Yeah, because you got the alive manana.
Yeah, the alive manana on your back, and sorry. We get like a scene. He's bleeding from. We found out he's bleeding. He got a nosebleed when he like mental linked with the Gundam, but it's really cool because we only from the angle that we see it, we see the side of his face with the nostril that did not bleed. So all we see is his like red stained chin like dripping with blood, and then we cut to the exterior of the Gundam and we see that same red chin on the Gundam. It's on the mobile suit itself, which I think that was just really cool. I thought that was nifty.
It's a very cool, like, because, the very first Gundam had that red chin, so now, like, showing that the character inside has the red chin because blood's dripping down his face is like, look at that.
Yeah.
The Venn diagram's a circle here.
Yeah. I'm just scrolling through my notes real quick of this first episode before we go on to the next one.
Yeah, if there's anything else you wanted to bring up.
Just about the fact that all these characters have these hedgehog-looking spines on their back, like the Matrix ports. There was that we learn more about the surgery for it in the next 2 episodes, but I do want to note that Orga took that surgery with no anesthetic.
Yeah, Orga kind of a fucking badass about it.
Like, shit, dude.
God, and like, because he's like, I forget who he was talking to, but the person asked him, like, you didn't cry, and he's like...
It was the mechanic, the older mechanic.
Yeah, it was,
with the stogie.
Yuki Nojo is the mechanic's name.
Yeah.
and he's like, you didn't cry, and Orga's like, they would have hit me if I cried either way. So it's like, they hit him because he was being a smartass and not crying, but either way, they would, like, it's very bleak for these poor kids, I think.
The other thing I wanted to note was the when we see the Cry's autonomous region, like the protests and rebelling against the Earth government. I just really laughed at the bikini girls with
the
free
bikini
Mars
protesters.
Like what is the IBO era version of the Obama girl?
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think of like a sort of ineffectual liberal politician in Iron-Blooded Orphans world. I suspect we'll get there as we watch more of the show.
And the last thing that I wanted to note was just that I really like Atra. We barely see her in this episode. We just like see her like leave her shop with a little boondoggle that she's making, and she's like, her hair is so exceptionally anime girl. Like, she basically has like cat ears built into the side of her head by her.
She
the way
really
her hair
does.
It's so cute. She's so adorable.
Atra. She's so small. She's so sweet.
Yeah.
Stan Atra.
Yep.
And I guess that will probably bring us in episode 2.
Yeah. So episode 2. So the episode 2 starts off. We see Barbados cratering that graze again, and but then right after that, we jump back to about what happened about 5 minutes before the last episode ended. Because what happened at the end of the last episode was Orga looked at Mika and was like, "Hey, this is what you should do next." And then the next time we see Mika is in the Gundam. So what happened is that, we see him like going down into the bay to get strapped into Barbados, and we find out that the system that they use to connect pilots to their mobile workers can also be used to connect to this big motherfucker. We also find out from Aina, who followed Biscuit and is there observing, that the Alaya Vijnana is an extremely dangerous and inhumane technology that can only be used on children who haven't finished growing yet. We also get the OP, which fucking bangs. Barbados beats the absolute tar out of the remaining grazes, but his thrusters run out of gas, and when this happens, Crank and Ein, the 2 remaining graze pilots, take the opportunity to beat Cheeks. Coral is very upset by this info because he wanted to martyr Aina to keep the Noblest funds coming. A bunch of people are sad about Donji dying. Atra, the girl from the store in the first episode, arrives, and we find out that the 2 girls who stopped her on her way are Biscuit's sisters, Cookie and Cracker. Aina experiences a small crisis about all the people who died on her behalf, and also pieces together that her dad, Norman, sold her up the river. Aina has some experiences with Mikazuki that leave her a bit flustered about war and themes and how to interact with him. The First Division beats the shit out of Orga for the stun he pulled with their flares last episode, and the Third Division, tired of being beaten to shit by the adults, decides to stage a coup. Crank sets off on a solo mission to finish the job at CGS or die trying, and heads back out to Mars. Orga and Mika have a small conversation, ending with Orga handing Mika the gun, and Mika immediately saying, "Yeah, who do I need to shoot?" The episode closes with Coral getting boarded by the what were their names? Garma and Kai.
Garma and Kai.
Yeah, Garma and Kai, who inform him that it's inspection time.
Yay! This is it just keeps going. I really like how, because the first episode ends with like Barbatos just bursting out and beating ass, and then we get to see, and it's like, record scratch. Yeah, that's me. You're probably wondering how we got to here. And it goes a mere 5 minutes before. So the Alaya Vijnana system, this is the equivalent of new types, as in like the thing that some characters can do to make them a much better pilot that most people can't. Right.
They said, okay, what if we took the things from Gundam Zeta, and I'm assuming future Gundams were like, we made artificial new types. What if we did that, but like physically?
Yeah, it's like, so it can only be done for kids. It's like the Evangelion thing of why we need children to pilot the mechs. I presumably to have something to do with brain growth, nerves being built, and all of that. It is essentially a fucked up USB port installed in like the base of your neck, like where you're between your neck and your spine.
It protrudes out in a way that's really unsettling. Yeah. Like the Matrix port was always fucked up to me to think about, but at least it was like flush with the back of my neck.
Yeah, no, this is not. And we even see Mika has 3 of them.
Yeah.
Like, he did not do it just once. And I guess it makes you a better pilot if you have, because like we see people will put this like sort of like egg-shaped piece of metal on the back that I guess is like the intermediary between the Alaya Vijnana port and the like sort of plug in the seat. So presumably all 3 of those, Mika has a special one that all 3 go in to make him, and that's why he's the main ace pilot, right? Because he can pilot the best out of anyone.
Yeah.
And Kudelia's like, This is fucked up. Are you guys like, you're okay with this?
You're telling me our war is doing... You're telling me that the government is using child soldiers? What the fuck?
Yeah. She even tells Mika...
Wikipedia said that all of you were consenting adults.
Yeah. She tells Mika, she's like, are you okay, throwing your life away? And he's like, well, I'm protecting everyone else, too. And she's like, that's not what I fucking meant.
Yeah. She also says your cerebral nerves are in danger. And Mika's like, I don't know. I don't use them very much.
I'm a dumbass for real.
He's just like me for real.
We know he can't read because he gets in the cockpit and he doesn't know what it's saying.
Yeah.
Until somehow, by being plugged in, he knows its name is Barbatos. And here is my little bit of fun trivia, Sarah.
Yeah.
Barbatos is its model number ASW-G-08. If you look at Solomon's Lesser Key, I'm not sure how familiar you are with demons and the like.
Yeah, I'm Barbatos, yes.
Barbatos is the number 8 in that list. Would you believe there's more Gundams in this series, and would you believe they all have a name on that list?
Oh, so oh my god, are we gonna get Bile?
I will not confirm nor deny.
I'm just looking at some of these lists of names, and there's a lot of great names in here. Shax.
I can tell you, we're not getting Shax.
How about Gremory?
Yes, not in the anime though. Gremory is from a side. Actually, I'm just gonna post this right now. I'm building Gundam Gremory at the moment. It doesn't show up. It doesn't show up in the show.
I just picked that name out of the 72 demons in the Ars Goetia.
Yeah, you rolled a 72 sided dice. This is Gremory. It's fucking sick,
but
we don't see it.
We don't see
the best part is,
look at that.
The best part is that weapon's not a scythe. It's an anchor that just has half of the end snapped off.
Yeah, that looks like a fish hook. Yes. Oh,
it's called the battle anchor, I believe.
That is fucking incredible.
Yeah, Gremory is one of the Gundam frames, and theoretically, there existed at one point in time, 300 years ago, 72 of these motherfuckers. A lot of them are gone now, but every Gundam we see is one of 72 Gundam frames.
That's really fucking cool.
That's what makes a Gundam in this show. It is specifically, it's the twin Ahab reactors.
Yeah.
So the Ahab reactors themselves, we'll see it at some point, but it's these two ring type things in the chest of the mobile suit that I guess spin and do science to make Gundam go.
Yeah, sure. It's a an arc core or whatever.
Yeah. It's
call it
the
whatever
reactor.
the fuck you want. It's the it's the thing that spins.
It's the ACAB reactor.
Yeah. Things I'm learning. The Latin origin of Barbados is Barbatus, which is bearded. Which, it's got the little chin strap.
Got the little beard!
I'm also liking to see this thing on Wikipedia. The in popular cultural. In the 2020 game Genshin Impact, Barbatos is one of the names of the Anemo Archon and the god of the nation Mondstadt. In the 2019 game Obey Me, one of the demons whom the players can interact with is named Barbados. And in the anime Gundam, there is a mobile suit known as this. It's just the lack of specificity. Just saying, in Gundam. There's
yeah, in Gundam. Gundam.
Gundam.
So he gets in Barbatos, he kicks ass. We get the opening, which is fucking really good.
Raise your flag by Man on a Mission.
Love to hear it.
Fucking I gotta look this up real quick, because Man on a Mission did sound really familiar to me, and I'm just curious if they've done any other OPs.
I looked it up too. I couldn't recognize what else they were in. Again, I have not seen nearly as much anime as you have, so I'm sure you could find something that I couldn't.
Yeah. They did shit, did they do I think they did the Log Horizon OP.
Okay.
Which is a database. Log Horizon fucking goes. I need to finish that show, but database. The Golden Kamui's first season, also Man on a Mission OP.
Oh, okay. I will say,
Long Winding Road is so fucking good. Anyways, go on.
Future openings. I forget who did the second opening, but the third opening is Spy Air, and the fourth opening is Kana Boon. So we're getting some big names on this. Are you kidding me?
Kana Boon and Spy Air? What the fuck?
The Spy Air opening is my favorite of the show. It's okay. I'm like 30 episodes ahead at this point.
Yeah.
But
So I'm just looking at pictures. I'm just looking at the pictures of the band of Man on a Mission. And it looks like their thing is like they're the residents, but with wolf heads instead of eyeballs.
Yeah, it's good.
I love it.
So what are some main things to talk about?
Neve, girlfriend of Neve is she's here for this week, just visiting and hanging out.
Hell yeah.
She just walked past, and she just texted me to say Barbados is derived from the same Latin root that gives us Barber and Barbarossa. Which, thank you, Neve.
Oh, thank you, Neve. Fun fact.
So
yeah, we never really got to see the actual fight between Barbatos and the other two grazes, but turns out Yuki Nojo, in his haste to get Barbatos ready, he forgot to refuel the thrusters. Oh, beans.
Classic mistake.
Classic blunder.
Classic
Mika
blunder.
like rockets backwards and just kind of like tumbles over because he loses thrust, so he has to kind of like fight on foot.
I assumed that this meant that like Mikazuki just could not fucking like nothing on this thing would work, but no, it's just that he can't like move it. He cannot jet around. He can still like fucking run though, because he kicks up a huge cloud of dust and like goes low and sprints in and like fucking uppercuts one of the other grazes. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. He at one point throws the mace at Ain's graze and like jumps up, grabs it, slams it down, like just completely snapping the arm off of the graze.
Yes.
You love to see it.
It's so good. Thank you for that fun fact, Neve.
You're welcome.
Shouts
and
out,
like eventually
she's rocking the Roy Benui shirt. Shouts out Roy, friend of the pod.
Fuck yeah!
Benui.
Shout out Roy League. Shout out Pokemon.
Shout out Pokemon.
Eventually, Crank and Ein retreat because Crank's like, yeah, this fucking sucks. We got to get out of here, dude.
But Crank is also like visibly shaken up when he realizes that he's fighting against child soldiers.
Yes, it's the voice. He's like, that ain't right. Uh-oh.
Yeah, he is. I mean, we don't know more about this character because of what happens in episode 3. Because Mikazuki just fucking
Crank does not have a very long path in the show.
I just find myself like a little bit invested about like what's this guy's history that's making like, is it just a particular scruple of his that like he has that the other members of Gjallarhorn do not, or is there like, does he have a past that specifically is pushing him back? I'm just curious. I find myself interested about this character. Because no one else seems to give a shit. Like when he reports that they were child soldiers to Coral, the Coral is like, so you got beaten by a bunch of fucking brats? What is your goddamn problem?
Yeah, I really don't know, because Crank is visibly older than pretty much every other Gjallarhorn member we've seen. Part of me wants to say, and this could just be me making a huge sort of extrapolating leap, but like, when Crank was younger in Gjallarhorn, there really wasn't any kind of like rebellions to quash or anything like that, so he didn't get to see combat. And maybe it's this like newer, younger generation of Gjallarhorn that's a little bit more like bloodthirsty or ready to like fight because they can tell it's coming. So maybe Crank in his old ways doesn't want, I mean, he wouldn't want to fight in the first place, but like we see he's very honorable about it, not like anyone else either. So it seems to me like maybe in this world, the old-fashioned way is not wanting to fight child soldiers. You old fuddy-duddy.
Yeah, you got to get with the new shit. What the Zoomers love to fight child soldiers now.
God.
Fucking, I don't know, low-hanging fruit joke about, like, Biscuit being on TikTok. I got nothing.
Yeah, we get another, so the show is good at interjecting humor, too. Because after the battle, they're counting the wounded and the dead and everything. And at one point, a character who, this guy's name is Chad Chadden, I think.
Chad Chadden?
Double Chad. And I think that's him who gives this guy Shino the last like remaining bit of Donji's Alaya Vinyana.
Yeah.
Donji's really fucking sad, and he's like,
or not Donji, the other guy. The you said Donji. Sorry, you said Donji.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, my notes are. Yeah, Shino. Because Shino was the one who told Donji not to go in battle, and Donji died. And Shino was like, "No, Donji wanted to die smothered between huge boobs.
They're soft and not hard like this cockpit." Which I have to admit, when I watched this episode, the first time I watched this episode, like I immediately singled Donji out as like most likely 12-year-old to die in the entirety of CBS. Yeah. Like very easy to see where that was going. But so I did not feel very much when he was kicked into smithereens, but I did actually feel a little bit about this, about him being like, no, you were supposed to be like Jean Havoc and die smothered in bugongalongs.
Yeah. It's like, God, if we could only be so lucky.
God.
Oh, poor Donji, rest in peace.
The human condition is to want to die like this.
Keep an eye on Shino, too. He's a funny guy.
Shino is like the guy with like the buzz cut?
He's the guy with like, I think he has like the more military cut. He has like the orangish hair.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's Shino. Shino's one of the more important boys.
Okay,
as you can tell by his slightly more.
Yeah, he kept showing up, and I think he was the one that I couldn't get a name for of like the main Team 3 guys that were showing up.
Honestly, they might not say it. This is me knowing his name is Shino.
Yeah,
because again, they'll show characters and then name them later on, which is a fine way to introduce you to it. Yeah. But it's harder to take notes that way.
Yeah. Division 1? That's not what I mean. What's the word I'm looking for? Sector?
Group 3?
Not Group 3, no. Like the first division. I guess first
division.
Yeah.
First division is the adults.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about here. First division is like kind of distressed because they're like, well, shit, what do we do next? Marba took he took the money and run. He took the money and ran. He listened to Steve Miller Band and just fucking bolted. And they were like, oh shit, fuck, I really don't know what to do. Let's just grab what we can and get the fuck out of here.
They're fucked up.
They're wanting to get out. We also meet fucking Biscuit's siblings, Cookie and Cracker.
Cookie, and that's why I'm named Pop-Tart Griffin in Discord, because I am one of the siblings now.
Your Biscuit's much older brother.
Yeah. Well, maybe Biscuit has a brother in the show who's named after a French pastry. Who can possibly say?
Croissant.
My name's Oreo Cracker, and I'm here to pilot a Gundam. Hey, these girls beat ass. I love Cookie and Cracker so much.
Because the first thing they do when they see Biscuit, like, they're really happy. Because we first saw them, like, they stop Atra on her way
She's like, Atra, you gotta run us over. You gotta hit the brakes.
Like, Atra is, like, driving her silly little truck with her boondoggle to give it to Mikazuki. And, like, the two girls are just, like, running in the middle of the road, be like, stop, you're evil, we hate. Because I think they think that she's, like, a Gallarhorn or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really cute.
It's really cute. But, so she, like, delivers them to Biscuit, and they run up to Biscuit, and they give him a big hug, and then they're like, you have to where's my fucking she says you have to rub my head for trying hard, and he gives both of them pats on the head.
Yeah, it's out there. I love Biscuit and his siblings. They are such a cute. It's like it's a very needed like introduction of levity whenever they're on screen together.
Like the kids from '79. We needed that.
Exactly. The honestly kind of are a close analogy to Kika Cats and Let's. Like, there's a lot of analogies in the show, the greatest of which we haven't really seen yet in McGillis and Galileo. But like, every Gundam's a callback to Gundam in some way, shape, or form. Obviously,
yeah. No, it's Final Fantasy. There's always a wedge. There's always a city. There's always a lighthouse.
Yeah, there's always a man. There's always there's always a little French boy with a baguette dancing around, because that's how you know it's in France.
I didn't know that was from the DLC of BioShock Infinite until I thought that was just like part of the base game.
There's always a boy with a potato grown in Matt Damon's poop that let you know it's on Mars.
Yeah. There's always a boy with a potato. There's always a boy with a potato to tell you this part takes place in Ireland.
Atra meets Mika, and immediately you can tell, oh, she has a crush on him.
Yeah.
Obviously. She's, really sheepish. And again, it's just so cute because they're both so fucking small.
Yeah, they're so short. It's so cute.
Yeah. She sees him, she's like, are you okay? And then she gets a closer look and sees the blood dripping down half his face, and she's like, oh, I shouldn't have asked that. Clearly he's not okay. Yeah. That was a stupid thing to ask. But again, you get the idea that Mika's he just doesn't get it, it's not, liking girls isn't on his mind at all. Mm-hmm. It feels like a more one-sided crush that Atra has on Mika.
Again, I will reiterate, he has three interests. It's killing Orga and killing for Orga.
Exactly. But she does have a cute little bracelet she made for him.
She gives him a boondoggle to put on the keychain for his Gundam keys.
Yeah, it has the fucking charm slot.
Yeah, getting a piercing on his hedgehog spine to
he wraps it around it exactly.
If I had gotten that surgery, I would absolutely be using that as a hair tie storage area. Yeah.
If I need to take a nap, I just plug a fucking USB-C port into it to wake myself up a little bit. The next big scene we get is Kudelia hanging out with Fumitan, and she's really sad because she's kind of realized she can't go back home because she knows that her father is the one who set her up for this. Yeah. Because she mentioned that her father was always staunchly against her being this sort of beacon of Martian independence. So the fact that he was like, oh yeah, hell yeah, girl, go off, is very suspicious. And she finally realizes that oh yeah, he definitely hired Gallarhorn to kill me. So she's like, oh, I don't fucking know what to do now. I can only go home if I can prove that he didn't have anything to do with me trying to be killed by Gallarhorn.
Right.
And of course, Ron Howard voice, this would prove impossible.
Mikazuki walks in on this scene and is like, oh, you're still around? Huh, don't thank me. And also tells her to quit apologizing, that his comrades didn't die because of her, and that he wants her to stop looking down on them. There's a the friction between Aina and the rest of CGS is really, really like it is the strongest with Mikazuki, but the tension between them is really strong to me. I like it a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like
it's good. Like they're kids, they have no money,
Right.
they have no education. Meanwhile, walks in this rich girl who's like the daughter of like, you know, the prime minister of the region. It's like there's like the biggest fucking gap possible.
Right. It's and she's trying to bring herself down to like work with them, but like even just by the nature of like seeing it as like bringing herself down to their level, like she is inherently looking down upon them. And
yeah, they see it as patronizing.
And it's only when she like fucking the only time Mikazuki gives her an inch is like when she like puts in some effort and like very badly makes dinner.
When she chops cucumbers like so fucking shitty.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's so funny.
So this is, and the next up we kind of start to get to see
first we have to talk about the very important thing, which is the scene where Aina meets Cookie, Cracker, and Atra, which is very important just because Cookie and Cracker are looking at a pepper that's shaped like a butt.
Yeah, and we see one of them like was like crying, laughing about it.
Yeah.
I fucking love Cookie Cracker so much.
It does look like a butt. They're not wrong.
I will say I had a part of my dinner was an Asiago bagel, and it did look a little bit like a butt. So
Neve made chicken parm for us and Brussels sprouts.
Fuck yeah.
It was so good.
God, I love Brussels sprouts. Top tier veggie.
Yeah.
Don't let the haters say otherwise.
No, anyone who says otherwise is wrong as hell.
Exactly. And it's cool. It's like they're kind of like fangirling over her. Atra's like, "You're someone famous. Like, can we get your autograph?" And Cookie and Cracker are like, "Yeah, can we get your autograph too?" It's cute.
Yeah.
I really like. We'll see a lot of like these four girls hanging out together. And it's nice. Like, they all get along really well. They all have, like, different ways to bounce off each other in fun ways. Orga gets his ass completely fucking beat. Haida is the name he does the
classic, like, don't touch my men. Just fucking beat me into a pulp.
Yeah. And he does. And Orga's like, afterwards, he's pretty much fine. He's like, all right, boys, I got a fucking plan now. That sucks shit.
That was awful. Like, he's like, Maruba sucked ass, but these first core guys are worse. They just think that we're bait. Their minds are small. They will not make us very much money. They're gonna take worse jobs, and we're gonna get killed.
Yep.
And Biscuit's like, well, we have no real choice but to stay. Like, we're just human debris, and this subcapitalized, like capital H, capital D, human debris.
Okay.
And I know it's a terminology. I know it's like terminology.
Yes. Well, it wasn't Biscuit. Specifically, it was Akihiro.
Oh, it was
saying
Akihiro.
He was
yes,
human
because
debris.
this is when Akihiro says, "I will take orders from whoever, whether it's them or whether it's you."
And you'll notice, and this maybe like 10, 15 episodes in, there's a reason why his jacket has that big red stripe.
Yeah,
on it.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, that's something that we'll tackle in the future of like what human debris is. Spoiler alert, it's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean,
you can probably guess.
Human debris is like a term I'd heard. Like, I'd heard like the floating corpses that existed as a result of the wars in space. Like, I'd had them referred to as human debris in 79 and Zeta, but like this was like a proper noun, capital H, capital D.
Yes. No. I mean, human debris is the reason why I did not want to make the robot in the show art say child slavery is bad.
Yeah,
we'll get there. It's fucked up.
Oh, that's good. Oh.
You know, not in so many words, but it's more nuanced than it would seem. I
fully believe it. I'm just I'm re-listening to the Shrieking Shack right now, and I just got to like one of the first chapters where they did a deep dive about the elf racism. About elf slavery, and it's just like I give the show a lot more. I'm gonna give the show a lot more leeway than I would Miss Joker Rowling. But I did just like reflexively recoil at that. But
yeah.
We jump over to the Gellerhorn station where Crank is preparing to go on his solo mission. He holds up two amiibos in his hand and he says, "I'm going to do this on my own."
Yeah, yeah, he has like he has this Gjallarhorn pin that Orlus had that I guess they were somehow able to recover.
Oh, that's what that was. Okay.
Yeah, Gjallarhorn, you'll see it looks like a cornucopia, like French horn type thing. They're sort of like sigil. You see it a lot in lots of different places, but that's the Gjallarhorn logo, effectively. And yeah, he's going alone. He doesn't want to fight them, but Coral is like strong-arming them. And it's like, you have to fucking do it. Like, I don't give a shit. Kids. We're getting inspected by Gaelio and McGillis, and if anything's amiss, like, you need to get Kudelia, you need to kill her or bring her here, you need to like clean up any evidence of this battle, because, again, this is like sort of showing how Coral is sort of the leader of his own faction within Gjallarhorn, and that can easily get stamped out by the higher-ups at Gjallarhorn if they catch wind of him trying to, like, you know, pave his own way, effectively.
Yeah, he's a man going his own way.
God. Yeah, we see, back on Mars, we see Orga hand Mika a straight-up, an actual just Desert Eagle handgun.
Okay, but before that, Orga walks up to Mika working on the Gundam, and Mika looks at him with his fresh injuries and says, "Oh, you got handsome." And they're really just... I would be putting these two together like two Barbie dolls and saying, "Now kiss," if they were not doing this for me. But, like, they're doing this for me, like, they're just, like, starting off with this shit.
Yeah. That's honestly, the dub made it a little bit worse, like, less notable, because he just says, "Oh, wow, you don't look so great, dude." But so saying to your bestest bro, who you would literally kill the entire world for, "You're handsome," when he comes in all fucked up, is like, yes, this is good. I'm putting my gunpla together and smashing their faces together.
Yes, making the kiss. Orga says, Mika says, "I know you're not a famous quote maker or anything, but I remember that thing you posted on Reddit that one time, which was, 'You can see the dead when you're dead. So to keep the living alive, do everything you can.'" And what was that line in the dub, give or take? Is that about what it was?
Yeah. Orga asks Mika why he isn't, like, you know, you're not gonna go see the dead, and Mika's like, you know, well, I'll be able to see them when I'm dead.
Yeah.
It's a little bit less wordy than that, but it feels like the kind of thing Mika would say. It's like, yeah, no time for that, because, like, I still got shit to do.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he's working on the powered down Gundam that doesn't have any, like, juice right now. And Orga gives him the gun, and he's like, "I have a plan. You'll know when it happens." Just like, he doesn't even need to tell Mika the plan, because some of the boys were wondering, you know, what happens if people say no to his plan? And Orga's like, if Mika says he doesn't want to go through with his plan, then we're calling it off, simple as. But Mika's like, "I don't need to know what the plan is. Like, you're Orga. I will do this for you."
Yep.
I'm smiling and nodding. I love these boys so much.
He's his Lionheart. I'm going to keep saying this because it's true.
Exactly.
Oh my god. Farid and Bauden, those are their names, right? Those are their last names, I think.
So it's so confusing, because McGillis is certainly not a first name, but it's the first name for Gundam. But yes, it's McGillis, Farid, and Gaelio
Bauden. Yeah. So McGillis and Gaelio, I will call them by their first name. For some reason, I wrote them as their last names in my notes, but I digress.
It goes back and
they're
forth.
welcomed to Coral's Gjallarhorn station by Gjallarhorn. And he's like, "Here, I'll guide you through it." And they're like, no, please, we're going to do this inspection on our own. And the general, like, just does a huge Anyaba sweat about it.
Yeah.
And says, like, "Crank, you better do your job properly."
Fucking Crank.
And
that's kind of
that's
where
the episode.
It ends.
I like I noticed at this point that there's like a rotating cast of people doing the next time on, because the first episode had Atra doing it, and now Cookie and Cracker are doing it. And the third episode has Eugene saying what's happening next. Well, episode 3 does not end with Eugene saying, "Here's what happens in episode 4. It instead ends with him complaining that the name that Orga chose for CGS, the new name Orga chose for CGS, is not epic enough, which he's wrong.
It's funny.
He's so wrong.
Yeah, he's fucking wrong as hell. Another cool sort of like meta thing the show does with like out of episode bits is how the show cuts the episode title seemingly like halfway through the show. It's like it's like the commercial break begins with them showing the name of the episode itself, which is like a cool little departure of, you know, normally you see it when the show begins, but no, it's like halfway through it'll say Barbatos, and like, oh, that's
I love a title card drop. This is one of the many things that I love about ReZero is like it mostly happens at the end of the episode, where it will just be like a bad thing, like a bad, like Natsuki Subaru will have a fucked up, terrible, very bad, awful day, and he'll get his head cut off or whatever, and then the title card drops in. It's like Natsuki Subaru's very bad, terrible, no good, awful day.
Exactly. And I think we mentioned it before, but like the ending is so good. I love the ending of this. Orphans, Namida. It's so good. It's so soulful. It's just very like,
again, like I referenced
ballad.
I pointed to Great Gig in the Sky about it earlier, and like I stand by that. Like it's the vocals are very reminiscent of that to me.
Yeah.
A little bit real folk blues, Cowboy Bebop too. Also.
A little bit. I have to look up to see who the group that did this, if they did anything else, because chances are probably, right? You know, you do one song for anime, you certainly will do several more at least.
Yeah.
But it's just a very, very good ending song.
Orphans no Namida is the name of the track.
Orphans no Namida.
By
so good.
Misia. What has Misia done? Let me see. Let me check her My Anime list, see what she's
Yeah, the reputable website that ranks this as the second highest Gundam series.
It's good
for research. It's good for research.
It's good to the IMDb database. She hasn't done much. No, the only other things I can find are something called why do I have Japanese names turned on for my anime list? I don't know the names very well enough. King of Thorn and Friends Naki of Monster Island. Those are the only two things.
Damn, I don't remember that. The one where they go to Monster Island.
Yeah. God, I fucking no. Amazing Island is the game I'm thinking of, not Monster Island. You play that game?
The fucking GameCube game where you make your guys? Yes. I fucking love that game!
That game was so good!
That game was so goddamn good.
Just the abominations you could create with the fucking, like using a GameCube controller to do drawings in MS Paint to create
draw
creatures.
A new type of guy.
Like, really fuck it up and just turn off symmetry and you just have a completely unexistible creature.
Go, Pablo Picasso!
Those minigames fucked, too.
Yeah, I love
the one that was just like the Hitmontop minigame from Pokemon Stadium 2.
That one, I could never fucking do. That one, the one where you had to run down the cliff and like skip along the water, yes. I could never time it right.
That one took me like days to figure out how to do.
Yeah, what a good game. That was such a, that's a blockbuster game in my mind. I never owned the game, but I rented that fucker.
I bought that game like day one. Those ads got me.
God. I can't believe I met the only other person on Earth who remembers Amazing Island.
I was just talking about it with my sister this week, too, so it's, like, fresh in my mind.
Fuck yeah. Good shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Episode 3.
Iron-Blooded Orphans. Episode 3. Glorious Demise. As CGS eat their dinner, Orga's plan is enacted. The boys drug the adults' meal and tie them all up. Mika executes Haida and Sasai, and they let all the adults leave who wish to, but keep Dexter Colastor so he can be their accountant. As they review CGS's financial situation, Crank once more arrives at the CGS base to duel Mikazuki in exchange for Orlus's Grace and Cutelia. Mika accepts and is able to soundly defeat Crank, killing him so that he can take his responsibility to the grave with him. During the battle, Orga realizes their organization needs a new name. He chooses the name Tekadon, which means Iron Flower. They will never wilt, and they will never die. I'm looking at the camera.
You know what? When
if a
character says something, it must be Donji was the last one. Like, sorry, R.I.P. to him, but like he was the last casualty to the last body.
Draw the line here.
Surely, I'm eating a big fucking spoonful of Cookie Crisp and saying, surely this will be the last body on the funeral pyre.
It's fucking sick. The cool logo.
Yeah.
We don't even see the logo yet, but the logo itself is like just you see it in the opening. It's that red sort of like.
Let me look at it.
It just like it's like a oval with like
I
these three,
see. Yeah,
like,
it looks like a
petal like things.
Looks like a bit like a pope hat, like a bishop's hat.
It does. It looks a bit papal with it. Yeah. We see this episode sort of begins the character trait that Mika has this weird snack he eats all the time. I think they're supposed to be prunes or dates, some sort of dried fruit that he likes that no one else in the entire show does.
I could go for some dried prunes. I could go for some fucking dried prunes, right?
I don't know. Maybe that's where he gets all his nutrition.
Yeah.
Right? He's a growing boy. But like, you always see him like chowing down on these things. It's very cute. Like, I remember specifically a lot of lines in the sub. It's like him saying like, yeah, but like his mouth is full of prune or whatever. So it's just like, oh, no, it's cute. Yeah. I like him.
I very much enjoy this character. I like, God. Mika is just nice.
Mika's nice with it.
Very much not nice, actually. Like, based on everything I've seen out of this character so far, not nice. But to me, he's nice.
Exactly, yeah. I'm not going to be... Mika has no reason to shoot me because Orga said so he's nice.
Yeah.
And the first big scene is this like dinner scene.
Yeah. We find out that Aina is like not very good at pouring soup. Like she's that out of touch with like doing things that the lay person would need to do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
Like she's
never cooked a meal.
She does not know how to handle a ladle. But she has never cut a cucumber, but the twins teach her how and say you have to do cat paws and
like nya.
Yeah, she does nya. It's so cute.
It's so cute. Ah, God. It's like so funny that it's in such a and again, it's modern anime. You're gonna get these cute character moments. It just feels so weird that it's like so prevalent in a Gundam series, but it's in a Gundam series and it's there and it's cute and it's like such a weird like bit of levity between Orga telling Mika to execute this motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean that was a bright part of the show too because the motherfuckers he executed were guys I did not want to stomach much longer.
Yeah, he was very good. He said, "Alexa, kill this clown."
Yeah.
I love when Cookie and Cracker give Mika. They give Mika Kudelia's fucked up cucumber chunk soup, and she is. It's like we see. So the shot is like panning across the whole cafeteria, and Kudelia is like way in the background. And when she hears Cookie and Cracker say Kudelia chopped him up herself, she makes the fucking funniest. Like her face turns red and her mouth like drops open. She's like, huh? And like sprints over.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good.
She does not manage to stop him from eating it, but he's like, no, it tastes good actually. I like when there's big chunks. Makes me feel like I'm eating something.
He says, "Penguin from Mario Galaxy voice." So chunks,
chunks, huh? No, that wasn't the was that the penguin? Yeah, that was the penguin. I thought it was one of the big fat Lumas.
No, but instead of the star bit for chunk, it's the cucumber emoji.
I went to Toronto International Animation Festival as part of my undergraduate back when I was an art student in like 2015. And they did very much. This was back before I was going as Sarah. Before I was Sarah, I was Luna for a good while, and they very much just they gave me a badge that said Luma on it. Luma Rogers.
I hear like the little like the little like bongo music that plays when you're giving them the star bits.
I just hear the chirp that you hear when when you interact with them. God, I haven't played Mario Galaxy in too fucking long. I gotta play that shit.
I beaten it. Gaming is good.
Gaming is good.
Let's see. So at some point, the boys had like given the adults the remaining like first unit people who are like just like chilling in bed. They gave them soup.
They gave them Nyquil soup.
they gave them Biscuit's signature sleepy time stew.
just empty a bottle of melatonin in there.
Why is this soup purple?
And you gotta get a little bit. You know what? Toss a little bit of cilantro in there too. Really makes it all pop.
Yeah, no, he has a salt grinder, but it's like grinding up fucking sleeping pills in the soups. They're completely tied up though.
He's got a salt shaker and then a salt shake and then a thing that looks like a salt shaker that has a label on it that says "not salt" in all caps.
God. So the adults are all tied up, and like Orga's like, we're not here to negotiate, and like you just straight up says you're listening to us now, and like without a fucking beat, Mika walks up and just double taps Haida in the head.
Bam, bam, gone.
Like ba out the gate, and it's like, oh, that happened concerningly quickly.
Yeah, Orga hits him with the ultimatum of you can work for us, or you can get the fuck out of here. And one of the guys, the guy like one of the first squadron's like second in command like tries to charge at them and just again gets blasted in the face.
Hey, Mika has good fucking. He watched Zombieland. He knows double tap.
Yeah, he's got some incredible aim too. Like holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, it must be like how often maybe the Elia Vignana makes your brain, makes you Kyle XY brain because like he just like
he's
quick with it.
He's got like a fucking like he's got ADS when he puts the gun up. He's got like the.
Yeah. Mika's using aimbots. But it's so funny when Orga says, you can leave if you want to, and then fucking
the first guy who's like, let me leave.
The accounting guy.
Dexter.
Biscuit's like,
this guy's name is Dexter Calculator, basically.
Yeah, and Biscuit's like, oh, you do accounting. Sorry, you gotta stay. We're kids. We don't know numbers.
We don't know numbers, and we want to make sure that that Space IRS doesn't audit us.
Yeah, which is like... It's Gallarhorn Green.
Yeah, is
the fucking branch basically. Yeah. And that the very next scene is so good because they're in the head office. Yes,
I love this scene so much. This is like one of the. I already liked Orga based on a lot of things, but like, there's like a small character moment here that just absolutely sends him over the top for me.
Is it him giving severance pay to the guys who quit?
Yes, because like the thing that he says, like Orga says, you gotta pay for labor, and like he's 100% right.
He fucking gets
like,
it.
Yes, pay for render unto the workers what is the workers.
Yeah, I'm looking into the camera and saying pay for labor.
Right. He also says like he also mentions something about like we don't know where these guys are going and we want to make sure that our reputation is good. Like if we give off the impression that we send people off without money, if we have a disagreement, be it as big as this one or smaller, we will not get much work.
Yeah. I mean, hey, he has a business savvy to him. Yeah. Clearly. I mean, he's the one in charge now, basically.
Orga says we're only doing honest jobs too. Also. And we we see some money. Dexter does some accounting for them.
Dexter does money math.
Dexter does Dexter does what I'm studying to do. Like this in 6 to 8 months, once I receive my certification and my degree, I will be Dexter Calastor. I will be the white Dexter Calastor.
The white Dexter calculator.
The white Dexter calculator.
God, I love Dexter's glasses. They're like wrapped around his head.
Yeah,
they're quite
I got
silly.
new glasses just today too. Like it's
hell yeah,
it's in the air.
It's fucking it's prophetic.
Yeah.
And he shows them as like, all right, this is our money based on everything we salvaged from the battle, yada yada yada. And the boy's like, wow, I've never seen this much money. And he's like, and after subtracting expenses, this is what we have. And they're like, wow, this is fucking pocket change. This is nothing.
We have 3 months.
Yeah, we are fucked.
Yep.
But it's like
it's that hold on, I requested this image be sent to me a couple days ago. I'm gonna find it real quick and then drop it in the chat, but it's the all day I fucking busy, very little money. let me find the picture. There's also the God, sorry, 1 second.
Yeah, you're fine.
Here we go. There's 2 images that it is. I posted both of them in the server, but I look stupid and I make very little money, and whole day I'm fucking busy, only get few money.
Oh, I the little handbag you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically Tuck and Tuck It On. Yeah.
This is the other one that I'm talking about. This thing from a shitty webcomic.
I look stupid and I make very little money. Just with tears in the eyes. God, that's so good.
This is Tekadon.
Yeah, this is God. At this point, the alarm blares because Crank is here. His Graze has like this like big red. Where did they get this? Did they just have a gigantic like tarp that they just tied onto it? Because it looks like it's made of cloth.
You gotta keep one on you for duels and such.
True,
like,
yeah,
because he has. We missed the part of in episode 1 when Mikazuki was giving Aina the tour. We missed the part where he was like, "There's our big red challenge tarp."
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you know what? It's like how in football, like the coaches stand on the side and they got challenge flags in their pocket if they don't like what the ref called on that last play.
Yeah, exactly. They have Gundam-sized ones of those.
Right. It's just like in the future they have invented finally paper that can fold more than 7 times, and so like Orga just keeps one of these in his pocket, like folded 1,000 times over into like a little pocket square.
It's like a fucking like battle kit for the Gundam to pop that thing out.
Yeah, it's like when he pulls it out, it's like those witches hats with like the wire brim you can like fold in to make like a little circle, or like a frisbee or something like that. It just like thumps out like that, but it's like way bigger,
gigantic. Yeah. He's here to challenge Mika, and he gets on the horn and he says, "Hey, we can duel. If I win, you gotta relinquish Kudelia and give me back the graze of my boy Orlis." And like he's like, all right, and then we'll leave you alone. Story and a story. And like half the guys just want them to say like, don't even duel. Just like, what is Kudelia doing for us? Give her to them. And the other half are like, they're gonna fucking kill her. What do you know? Absolutely not.
Yeah. We found out his last name, which is Zent, and just Crank Zent is like
Crank Zent is a powerful name.
This is boiling down Gundam names to their essence, in my opinion.
I mean, here's the thing, Sarah. I'm sure this conversation has been had every 2 months in the Gundam Discord. There's a character in one of the Gundam series whose name is Bring Stabity.
Brings?
It's just like Bring Stabity. I think the same series has someone named Revive Revival.
They do really get you out. Like Bright Noah is a pretty ridiculous name, but like the thing is that you are so inured to it after like the end of the 4th episode that you're like, yeah, Bright Noah, my friend Bright Noah. Well, friend, my enemy, Bright Noah.
Yeah, enemy. But like, even names in this series again, like there's Chadan, there's fucking Karta Issue, there's Sakura Pretzel.
Karta Issue that's an Ace Attorney. That's an Ace Attorney name for like a mechanic, like a body shop mechanic.
One of the best names.
Karta Issue.
Jasly Denomicals.
That's okay. That's also an Ace Attorney. That's also an Ace Attorney name, but one that I have not figured out the pun of. This is one that I'm gonna stare at for like 6 months and not understand. Like that's a rebel in Spirit of Justice.
Yeah.
Because I stared at that for so long because I never put together like instead of I was pronouncing it like Arbal, like and I was like, what, that's our ball? Is it like a sports thing? Hard to parse. All day I look stupid and make very little money.
All day I work. So they get ready to fight. This is, I think, when Orga explains to Kudelia that, like, yeah, the Elia Vignana kind of fucks people up. Like, I think because Orga mentioned that he and Mika were in a group of 8 kids who got it, and only 4 made it out.
Yeah.
He's like, the other 4 are probably still in the hospital to this day, and Mika got it 3 times.
Yeah, he rolled like rolled the triple axle, no wide lens or anything, and got the 90%
yeah, he
hit
hit
rate.
that 90 accuracy check.
Yeah.
Mika the kind of motherfucker to hit a thunder in bright sun.
Yeah.
Oh god.
He's got that. He's eating his white herb. He's eating his white herb to hit that solar beam in rain.
God. That's good.
Yeah. Sorry, no, not the white herb. The power herb. God.
Power. Yeah, white herb is stat lowering.
I'm banned from
Pokemon in the brain.
I'm being forcibly removed from Roy League for this one. I think I want to just jump back real quick because I feel like we kind of jumped over some of the Kudelia stuff in this episode, and she doesn't get a ton of stuff, but I think the stuff that she does get is very important because she has, like, very much been dealing with the fact that she wants to, like, be able to help these people who saved her and trying to interact with them in a way that is not, like, keeping them at arm's length and just being like, this is these people died for me. That's so tragic. It's, and being like, a bit of a fucking, like, rich savior about it. And she, like, as soon as Crank is like, hey, give her up to me, she's like, she steps out, like, fully in her dress, like, hair down in the heart. And she's like, I am going to do this. Meaningless battles should be avoided. And they don't let her. Because Mika is like, I'm fucking doing this thing.
Yeah, like it's like specifically because I think the conversation with her and Orga about the Elia Vignana is her asking, could I get that? And he's like, fuck no. And so a lot of her arc is, like, figuring out how she can be useful. Well, like, because she knows that she can't fight. She knows that is not what she's here for. Because, again, she's a peaceful person. Like, it's not like a Verlina Peacecraft situation where she's flat out refuses to have anything to do with fighting. But, like, it is her effectively, like, finding, like, okay, this is how, like, not to ingratiating herself with the boys in Tekkadan, but, like, this is her way of, like, kind of bridging the gap between, her being of such high status compared to these, like, child soldiers, of her being like, I will do whatever it takes to, like, help you out and to, like, make a future for people like you. So it's like she is quite a remarkable character in that, like, one of the very first things that she does is, like, willingly throw herself to danger because she's like, I don't want to help people. It's good.
Yeah. I very much like this character. Like, I very much have been endeared to, like, her being the one named girl character in a sea of men is, like, that's very much, I'm very, very like to enjoy this character to begin with. But, even in spite, like, even with that set aside, like, she's just, I really enjoy everything that they've been doing with her so far.
Yeah. I mentioned this in Discord. Honestly, Iron-Blooded Orphans might be, it's pretty good to its women characters. It's not the best to its women characters. I think Wing might be the best Gundam to its women, honestly. But, like, Iron-Blooded Orphans is pretty good for a lot of it. Like,
yeah,
it's not like fucking, early Gundam. Zeta has a lot of problems with its women characters, so it's not as bad as that. Like, it's I don't know. It's just, like, there's good writing to IBO that I quite like.
Yeah.
Good show.
Yeah, but so Mika says, Mika says, square up, throw that chair up. In New York, I'm Millie Rock. Hit the club, tear it up.
Mika Rock.
Yeah, Mika Rock. And gets into it with, like, before even, like, really fully settling the terms, which is, like, that bugged me, but then they addressed it in the show. Like, because Crank is like, well, if I win, I get Kudelia and the Greys, and there's no point at which. It's not until after the battle is over that Mika even asks what happens if I win, because his sole motivation, as he says in this scene, is that Orga told him to kill Greys. So Mika asks, like, how do we decide the winner when one dies? And Crank responds, no need for that. We just wanted to kill Kudelia. Children should not be victimized for adult strifes. Like, this is not something that I am, like, that is a foreign concept to me. Like, this is a common thing. Like, so, like, Jujutsu Kaisen has this, like, children should not have to bear the sin of, like, being a child is not a sin. Like, the respect, like, and it's a correct thing. It's just, like, it's just a regular, like, theme of, like, being to be ripped from childhood so early is such a tragedy.
Right, yeah. I mean, that is very much a main theme of this series.
I mean, theme of Gundam, really. Like,
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. I like that shit.
Yeah, show about kids.
Yeah.
They fight. We get, cool maneuvers. Crank is pretty good one-on-one when he's not, like, having to cover the other two less competent mobile suit pilots. At some point, Crank is able to, like, break the handle off of Barbatos's mace. Mm-hmm. And the handle flies and lands right in front of Orga and everyone else. And, like, everyone cowers except for Orga, who's just, like, fucking badass stoic, just arms crossed, just standing, and, like, as, like, the dust flies past him.
I knew that was gonna miss me.
yeah. His fucking one, like, wisp of hair bang forms the Fibonacci spiral, so he can, like, see the math as it flies towards him. Yeah.
Like getting fucking back thrown off stage at like 72% and being like, oh, I knew that would never kill me.
Yeah, when you're playing Pokemon, you run the calcs. Yeah. I can survive this.
In this future calc.pokemon.show will be downloaded into people's brains.
That's what they install on the base of your spine, exactly.
That's the
surgery. It's the Alakazam Vaporeon system.
All right, what's the actual name again of the thing?
Alaya Vinyana.
Alaya Vinyana. Okay. The
Alaya Vibrava.
The Alaya Vibrava. I love it.
The hold on, I'm looking. The Amora Vibrava system.
Amora Vibrava. Okay. All right. I like it.
The Amora Vibrava system.
Tremendous.
Wonderful. This is the hard-hitting research.
Amogus.
God. So yeah, the half of the base of the mace lands near Orga, and that's when he gets the little light bulb over his head. It's like, oh shit, I have a cool name after this shit.
Yeah. It's the Tekadon.
He realized, we can't be CGS, we're Tekadon now, which means Iron Flower. Yeah. Which fucking rules. And even the Japanese name of Iron-Blooded Orphans is Ji Teketsu. So it's like, it's like that iron.
Yeah.
The other half of the mace, Mika is able to pick up, and wouldn't you know, it has a pile bunker on the inside that he uses to just fucking pierce Crank's cockpit with it. Just like, boom,
right through the tummy.
Love that shit.
And the, he grabs the head of it too and like just crushes it, and there's like an outpouring of blood too, which I was where is the cockpit? Because there is some blood that comes out of the stomach area of the Gundam when Mika pulls the Black Knight Greatsword out of there, but there's also like a fountain of blood that comes out when he crushes the head.
So this is something that I feel, I don't know how people feel about this in general. I think it's a bit over the top sometimes. That's like oil pouring out, effectively.
Oh, okay. It just was red and it looked...
It's basically like the show's visual shorthand for, imagine this is a person gushing blood.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's just like oil and, lubricant and bits of machine goop that is like blasting out as if it was the blood of the machine.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think it's that needed in a lot of cases, because it's like, I don't need the machine to be covered in oil to understand that it did a big bloody hit when like half the machine is in pieces on the ground because you hit it with a fuck off mace.
Yeah.
But sure, it looks badass.
Yeah, it does. I thought it looked badass. It was a bit confusing, but yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it'll happen a lot. So just so you know for the future, that's not blood pouring out. When you see blood, you'll know it's blood.
Yeah.
But if it's like that dark brown color, it's just oil.
But so I did just want to know, there's like a little splat of blood that comes out after the cockpit is pierced and just like lands on the Gundam's face. It looks it's fucking sick.
That was Crank's blood, I believe.
Yeah. Based on the amount, I was like, that seems like a man's blood, especially given the fact that he doesn't immediately die as a result of this.
Yeah, and like. That sort of showdown afterwards when Mika comes out of his cockpit and Crank's like, I can't die. Can you help me, bro?
Yeah, I can't even kill myself. Will you help me? And like Mika's just like, he like looks out to the side and is like, man, and it just like pops him between the eyes from 30 feet away.
It's like as Crank thanks him for doing it too, it's just like he like just wastes no time with it.
Yeah.
Because like, Crank's whole thing is like, and this is when you mentioned like Mika's like, I didn't like that you didn't say what would happen if we win. And that's not really resolved either, because like presumably Gjallarhorn's still going to go after the boys because they still have Kudelia,
right.
They still have this contract to fulfill, but Crank couldn't do it, so bye Crank.
Yep. Yeah, he left it out intentionally because there was no other, like, if he wins they're going to keep trying, or if he loses,
gone too
if
soon.
Mika wins they're going to keep trying. Yeah.
Another visual thing that we get a lot with Mika, we get this right after he kills Crank, is he smells the bracelet Atra gave him. Which is another really, really sweet touch that, like, it really does help ground Mika from this, like, bloodthirsty, emotionless killer to bracelet smell like girl.
Yeah, bracelet smell like girl.
Or what were you gonna say?
Just the way the episode ends, which is like, Charlie Chaplin, mustache, says oh man, I wish we had negotiated and made some money. And then Aina walks up and says, excuse me, I will exchange my money for your goods and services and continue to be my escort as we go to Earth. And we learned about Nobliss first name Nobliss, last name Gordon.
Nobliss Gordon. This MF named
Nobliss.
You might as well just have named him Noblesse Oblige, whatever.
Right, like, but he's basically Aina's sponsor with the rebellion, and they undertake the delivery of her to Earth. And Eugene does not like this. My note about this is pound sand, and I cannot tell if that is him like punching the dirt of the Earth, or if me just telling him to pound sand, like, you know, to fuck off about it.
That could, I mean, probably both, but it very well could have been in response to, like, I think Eugene is like, that name's fucking lame. When Orga tells him that their name is Tekadon now.
And we get like the end of the episode where he's like, we should have named ourselves something cool like Truth or Justice or whatever. As we see this stuff happen.
Whatever, man.
And that's the episodes, yeah.
That's the episodes. Really, the show makes a wonderful first impression.
I'm having a hard time not just doing the next episodes right now. So I watched these episodes on Friday and took my notes on them in advance of Neve getting here on Saturday. And on Saturday night, I showed these episodes Saturday night, and then we watched one on Sunday morning. I showed these 3 episodes to Neve, and then later that night, Neve was like, I kind of want to watch some more Gundam. And I was like, I have to keep myself at the podcast pace. It's going to be hard, though.
Yeah, well, you have free reign for a luxurious 3 more episodes after this.
Like, if I watch those now, then I can't. I have to. That's all I get until we record next time.
Yeah, it's the problem. It's good content, really good mobile suits. We'll see.
I've been experiencing this a lot with ReZero too, where it's like I reach the end of the episode and I'm like, well, I mean, I could keep watching because I have seen it before and I know what happens, but it's like, fuck, I want to keep going.
You got it's the podcaster's burden. Is what it is.
Podcaster's lament.
Oh God. Well, next week we'll be doing 3 more. I've found it just like. Somehow it's always worked out. 3 episodes a week has just been like the perfect pace for this show, because it almost feels like the show is broken up, paced as if we're gonna watch 3 episodes at a time. Like
3 episodes does, like, it comes to like a natural conclusion at the end of this 3rd episode. Yeah. That I feel like it's a good pause. Like, it feels very much like I don't know. Like everything to me is Higurashi now, but like the way Higurashi breaks up, it's God, I hate the way Higurashi names things, because there's 8 parts of Higurashi that are the chapters, but each of those 8 chapters has 10 to 15 chapters in it. And the game calls both of these things chapters. But like each chapter's chapter, like each of those has like, there are multiple like breakpoints in them so that like you could like stop in the middle of one, but like the end of it does feel like a small thing happened, even though it is a part of a much greater thing. Like, it feels very condensed, like a good stopping point.
Yeah.
Like,
no, and this show even does that.
Higurashi invented storytelling.
So true. This show does that too, where this show is broken up into seasons, and you see, unlike a lot of like Gundam tier lists, this and I think Double O are separated into seasons a lot because they were released separately. Like, I think season 2 came out a year after season 1 did. It's all one show, but you see that Crunchyroll has it separated by season. And season 1 ends on, like, the show could have ended after season 1. I'm glad it didn't, but it could have, because it's like it's almost like a separate thing that we'll find, like, between season 1 and season 2, a lot of things change, and the show is more interesting for it. But yeah, it's just like it's good to have storytelling paced in such a way that it doesn't force you to like either watch one at a time or like binge the whole thing. Right?
Yeah, very good. I like the It.
I'm so glad you liked it. I'm so glad. This is a very cool series. There's some characters later on that I can tell you are going to absolutely adore.
Women.
Sarah, this show has maybe like the most girl boss of any Gundam character.
I'm so excited.
It's like one of the ones where like
this might not have been a Gundam, but I feel like the only other Gundam girl boss I've seen is one who kicks a guy out the back of like a a freight plane and then shoots him in the eye as he is falling to Earth.
Oh, that was Lady Un from Gundam Wing, and she is also, like, top 10 girl boss of all time.
The fact that she, like, every single motherfucker in this series who wields a pistol is a fucking sniper with it.
It rules. I mean, it's like half of it's like, it's not as funny if they miss the shots, but the other half is just like,
it's so cool.
Do a cool ocelot trick.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're nearly at the close. I guess it's time for plugs now. I have to remember to update the, like, podcast template now. And episode art, a lot of new things.
Yeah.
I gotta send Matt the new episode art. So yeah, Sarah, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Sunhatzhenya, SUNHATZHENYA. And if you have not had enough of my voice, maybe you can go listen to some of my other podcasts. I referenced at the start of the episode that I have done over about 400 episodes of podcasts at this point. More than half of those have been for my horror movie podcast, Fear Baiting, which, Max, have you been on that?
I have not, but I will be at some point.
Yeah, we got some plans in the works there. Yeah, it's a horror movie podcast. I also do a bunch of other podcasts, such as two that are currently more or less on hiatus. The Wonder Years, which is an Animorphs reread podcast, which we've done most of. We just haven't finished up the last 10 or so. Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die. It was like a current event podcast that we did. You know, still talking about maybe doing things. But the podcasts that I like am actively keeping up with as like a regular thing are Forward ReZero, the ReZero watch along podcast that I do with the aforementioned girlfriend of the show, Neve, and first co-host of this podcast, Morg. We're watching the show ReZero. We just finished at time of this recording. We just finished the first half of the first season of that show. I think it's good. You can also listen to the Jujutsu Kaisen podcast that I did with my very good friend Kay. It's called Special Grade Snacks, and we are not currently doing anything because the show is not currently airing, but there is a movie coming out in about a month and a half, and we will likely be seeing that movie and talking about it, so listen to that show. We only did like 12 or 13 episodes because that's how, like, you know, two a piece, etc.
Sometimes anime short.
I think that's all of my podcasts. Keep an eye out for Old Friends Chainsaw Dog Sanctuary in a couple of months whenever Chainsaw Man anime happens.
So fucking choice.
And I think that's all the places you can find. I do too. I'm doing too many fucking podcasts.
Content never sleeps. I've been Max. You can find me on Twitter at MaxyBajillion. I have other shows. There is Pot of Greed, the world's #1 and only Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast, sponsored by Kaiba Corp, where, like, halfway through season 3 of GX, that's like our, I think, like, 9th total season of Yu-Gi-Oh! We've done for the show. Never ends.
No, Yu-Gi-Oh! The thing is that every time, I turned over a rock. I turned over a rock the other day, and there was a full season of Yu-Gi-Oh! Under it. Like,
yeah, they just keep making these shits. Konami's like, ooh, wow, these cards give us a lot of money, huh? Let's keep doing this.
They're like series 9, right?
8 or 9, yeah. It's nuts. I think they just started 8. This is Wild Crow about the one I'm talking about that I almost plugged. You can listen to Slappers Only, a video game music showdown podcast. You were on that recently, Sarah. We made a game and it was really good. And I'm mad it doesn't exist because that game would be so good. We just finished Nevermind the Trollocs, which is a Amazon Wheel of Time rewatch podcast. The mailbag final episode of season 1 should be going up roughly around the time this episode goes up, maybe a week or two afterwards, which is like the final episode until next year, when the show starts up again. But that's with the wonderful folks at Mobile Suit Breakdown, as well as Sarah, who is a host for Zeta. Different Sarah.
I know so many Sarahs.
H. Yeah, like I know like 4 different Sarahs. So when I talk to my fiance, I have to specify which Sarah because it's either you or Irish Sarah or the Sarah I know in real life or Katie's sister-in-law Sarah. So it's just
my sister's boyfriend, his sister who he's really close with and that my sister knows is also named Sarah, which is just very confusing whenever I'm experiencing them.
Right, it never ends. So many Sarahs.
So many Sarahs.
And finally, one last question. This is the fun part, Sarah. This is very important. Okay. What is that robot of the week?
The robot of the week to me, the robot of the week is going to be, I'm going to choose the robot that I selected in my introduction post, which is going to be Soli, I'm going to butcher this last time because it's been too long since I read the comic. My robot of the week is going to be Solipinski from Oh Human Star. And are you familiar with the comic of Oh Human Star?
I don't believe I've ever heard of it.
So, the comic of Oh Human Star is about a man, Alistair Serling, who dies, bleeds out and dies one night. And then he wakes up 40 years later where all the robotics that he had spent his entire life working on had been turned into the way of the future. Like he was the Steve Jobs of robot society. And he has been his consciousness has been put into an android that is a perfect copy of his now dead body. But the hook of it is also that there was a kind of like robot clone of him that was also like his body, his mind from infancy. And this character was trans, like early in their teenage years, they decided they would rather be a girl. And the entire series is about like a lot of like, just drama about that and about, robotics and gender and things. And Sola is the Alistair, the trans Alistair daughter. And Human Star is a comic that's very near and dear to my heart. And I Blue Delaquanti, if you like robots and future and gender, I cannot recommend Human Star enough. It's pretty short too.
Damn.
It's pretty short. I read
I'll have to check it out. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I read it over the course of like 4 or 5 days, I think. It's very short.
Right on.
Great, really just tremendous shit. Gay too. Love that.
Love that. Right on.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
that's Robot of the Week. Shouts out Sola.
Fuck yeah. And that will do it for us. Thank you all for tuning in. It's a new frontier. We're on Mars now.
Thank you so much for having me on for this one. I'm really excited to keep going with this.
This is a wonderful begin.
Yes.
This is going to be a wonderful couple of months. All right, thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Next week, more IBO for next several months. And as we always say on the podcast in fucking perpetuity, war is bad.
Wow, cool robot.
Fuck yeah! All right, see you next time.
Bye.
Peace.